Hello, everybody. Just had a little bit of, not technical problems, but just trying to sort this out before I went live, just to make sure I can see everything that's going on, like chats and all that type of thing. So yes, a little bit late I am on this one. Hopefully you can hear my, I've got my microphone on here, so hopefully you can hear that one. Clark Teddles, hello. Hello, how are you? All the way from Australia. I wonder what the time is at your place, Clark. I bet we've got 11 o'clock here, or just after. Hello, Magpie Movies. Hello, Paul. Hello, Ryan of Beard House Movies. How you doing, mate? Paul says, I'm doing all right, actually. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. Just trying to iron out a few of these things on here. Well, I can see the comments anyway, so that's half the bother. So, Brandon loves cinema. Hey, room. How's everyone doing? Doing all right. Brandon, how are you doing? Good to see you here. So Clark said it's only 8 p.m. Well, that's all right. That's not too bad for you. It's not as if it's sort of like 4:30 in the morning. Remember that one? Love the Dead Kennedy shirt. Yes. You know, you got to bust it out every now and again. It's one of those ones that sometimes you can't wear at work, put it that way. So Brandon says he is fine. Good man, no worries, mate. Blockbuster Bob. Hey, dude. Hey, Blockbuster Bob. How are you doing? You all right? It's good to see all these people in here and have a good chat with you as well. Andy Benton says, good morning, John. Good morning, Andy. Martin Geary says, morning, John. Morning, Martin. It's not a bad morning, actually. It's quite, it's one of those mornings where it's been raining, like, it's all the sun seems to have dried up a little bit, but that's just the way it is. Brian says, I'm a traditional punk, so yeah, most days I just wear punk or horror shirts. The Ramones, the Misfits, the Clash, or a horror icon shirt with some properly ripped jeans. Yes, not bought in the shop like that. I hope you've worn them out to an absolute, so they're hanging off you as they should be. Ryan of Beard House Movies, R.I.P. Blockbuster Video. Yeah, I know. What was that all about? To be honest, I used to go there quite a lot. In fact, there's a lot of stuff from here that I've got from Blockbusters over the years. Euphoria Pictures. Hello, Keith. I have a few minutes, so I thought I'd just pop in and say hello. Hello, Keith. You all right? Long time no see. Well, we just had a chat before the stream. Clark says, I can't wear my Clockwork Orange and the thing on... I can't wear my Clockwork Orange shirt or I get weird looks. I know what you mean. I've got one as well. I mean, mine's bright orange. And sometimes when you have it and you're walking around the streets and people think you're a bit of a hoodlum, I think that movie has got a bit of that reputation that the people are drawn to it because they like violence. I don't really like violence at all, but I do like the Clockwork Orange. Martin Geary says, will you be picking up the Clockwork Orange and the thing on 4K? Yeah, that's a day one purchase. Of course it is. But I'm going to go into this a bit more on a forthcoming video, Martin. The fact is that I do think that, I know Arrow haven't released this 4K, but they've released this remastered 4K with all the bells and whistles. So that's a great box set. So my thing, the pre-order I was going to do on my thing, I thought, well, I'm just going to go for the standard 4K because I've already got the really good version on the packaging on Arrow. And will I be getting that to sort of getting that twice? And I'm starting to get a lot of double dips with the Arrow stuff with Bird with Crystal Plumage, Cat and Nine Tails, Deep Red. They're coming in 4K and they're not that much of an uptick on the remastered Blu-ray, unfortunately. So I'm trying to get myself to stop this double dipping kind of mayhem that's starting at this moment. So it's a load of comments here. So I hope I'm gonna try and keep up with them best I can. But yeah, so I will be getting the thing on 4K standard, Clockwork Orange, wait and see. I've got some special stuff coming on that because it is one of my favorite movies of all time. I think it's about number 3 on the list. Blockbuster Bob says, all good, off work, deciding what movies to watch. Haha. While I got the TV to myself, well, that's what you do, don't you? When you're off, you think, right, get on these shelves and see what I can put in the player when there's nobody about and there's nobody going to come and like sort of bother you. Brandon says, exactly, mate. I honestly never want to be famous, so I wear shirts of my preferred entertainment on most days. I'll have plenty of time for the proper suits at my own funeral, lol. Well, actually, I was just thinking, well, I wasn't thinking about this the other day. I was watching a video on YouTube about burials and stuff, and I thought, what would I be like to be buried in? And I thought it'll not be a whistling flute. I thought it would just be something a bit strange. I don't know if that will work when I eventually pop off, but never mind. Magpie Movies, Paul said, John, mate, have you watched I Saw the Devil? I started to watch it last night. Yeah, I have. It's absolutely brilliant. I thought that was going to, I had loads of people telling me that was a good movie. And I thought, right, I'm going to have it. I saw it and I got it cheap. I was only about £6. I think I bought it off Amazon, actually. And when I got it, I watched it and I thought, and especially, I think actually our version isn't as long as it could be. I think there's another version that's longer, which I think I might go for, actually. But I've got to admit, I Saw the Devil is an absolute amazing movie. I thought it was one of the best ones I've seen in that type of revenge. I've never seen one like it, if I'm honest. So yeah, amazing. Andy Benton says, love your videos. I think we have a very similar taste in movies. Well, thanks very much, Andy. And as well, I've got to admit that I must admit that the people that I follow on here and the people that follow me seem to have this sort of like loving for the same sort of stuff that I do, like, which is great. And we do differentiate on certain things. We do sort of talk about things like some people like the more extreme stuff, some people don't like that stuff, some people like the more ghost horrors, all this type of thing. And I think that it's good that you can have this different flavor to what you're watching. There's a few fun ones that I've been pointed to that I wouldn't have normally went to, but thanks very much, Andy. I do appreciate that. Brandon says, this is one of my favorite films of all time. I watch it about 3 times a year. I want to see how the 4K remaster will look. I don't know if you're talking about The Thing or Clockwork Orange. I would imagine you're talking about Clockwork Orange. Ryan of Beard House Movies says, I Saw the Devil and it is an amazing Korean movie. Yes, I totally agree with that. It's one of the best ones I've seen, actually. And some of the Korean movies you've got, I've got quite a few down there. I do think you get something extra from them. And I think like the Train to Busan, you get some amazing stuff on there. And I rate their output highly. And if I see something that's Korean, I will kind of navigate to it. Brandon says, yeah, I think that we're all big fans of A Clockwork Orange here. Well, I do think I hear a lot more people talking about how they like it than how they dislike it. I can understand why people don't like it, but I can also understand why people love it. It looks brilliant. The soundtrack is brilliant. The acting is brilliant. The sort of violence, if you like that sort of extreme violence, is there. You've also got a very interesting story, and you've got Stanley Kubrick at the helm. So what's not to like? I've got a feeling that the 4K will be absolutely amazing. The HDR in that movie should make this movie jump to the next level, a bit like 2001. Utterly brilliant. 88's Italian. Andy Benton says 88's Italian collection is essential. Yeah, I'll agree with you on that one. I've got this all here. I've got the whole lot down to the ones that have just been released, and I have a great time with them. In fact, usually sometimes when I watch them, I watch some of the later ones and I think there's no way I'm going to enjoy this. It's not going to be anything that I'm really that interested in. I'll always find that I usually 99% will enjoy what films I'm going to get into. And I'm glad that I've got that series going, because a lot of these films I wouldn't have even not entertained or even knew about. So it's a great collection to be into. I think it's probably my favorite collection, definitely. So Echo Perro says, boiled eggs are not safe. Be careful. Well, you better believe it. Yeah. PlaytenderGuy. Hello, John. How are you doing, mate? I'm doing great. I'm currently sitting in Costa listening to you. I'll tell you what, Peter, the amount of times I've heard when you're watching stuff or you're commenting that you're in Costa, well, I wish I was in Costa, I tell you, because I love the place. And I hope you're having something very nice. So let me know what type of Costa you drink. I drink a latte, and I do have these little things called cortados, which are espressos with milk, and they just blow your head off. So I love them. Clark says, I wish all 4K covers of old films use the original covers, not a new fancy one. That's a brilliant comment, that, Clark. I'll agree with you 1000%. I do think that a lot of them miss a trick when they don't put the original work on, because to be honest, sometimes the original artwork is streets ahead of anything that can make up these days, because obviously they'll just put a couple of floating heads on of the actual stars looking off into the distance, looking a bit disgruntled, when they have these stellar pictures or posters that they could draw from. I just don't know why they don't do it. Are you listening? Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, not the Last Crusade, but the box set. I do think that that could have been that really good artwork that they had. I mean, the fellow that they paid to do this artwork, who'd done the artwork on most of the posters at that point, he done an exceptional job. And I do think that maybe they didn't want to pay him, but the thing for me is the needs to get more original artwork in there. So yes, I'm behind you on that one, Clark, definitely. The trailer project. A watch job lemon. It's what we call in the States. Just kidding. No one does. Right. I don't really understand that one. PlaytenderGuy says, what are some of your favorite bands and music artists? Well, Dead Kennedys. I saw them a couple of years ago. Got to meet them after the concert. I had a couple of photographs taken, and were absolutely brilliant. I've always liked the Dead Kennedys. My wife actually loves the Dead Kennedys as well. She was really up to see them. Another band that me and my wife love are the Buzzcocks. Sadly, Pete Shelley, the singer, died a few years ago, which was a big shock. And I know they're continuing without them, but we are going to go and see them without them. But it will not be the same. But Steve Diggle, the other guitarist, is still, and it's a big shame. Obviously, the Misfits, Mogwai, I do like. I've been listening to Slipknot a little bit recently because of obviously Joey Jordison passing away, which was a massive shock. I like other things. I like, believe it or not, I like ABBA, because ABBA probably are the best songwriters of all time. I mean, look at their stuff; it's just all class, which is a big shock. But I like things like Napalm Death, sometimes extreme stuff. Slayer, love Slayer. I've been to see Slayer, and then I go and like other things that are just like nothing in the charts. Forget the charts. Although that Billie Eilish is all right. I've got to admit, she's got a bit of the right sort of mentality for being in the limelight. Although some of the music isn't that good, but it's and as much as I like Lady Gaga to act, don't really care that much for her music, but I do appreciate that she's an absolutely amazing musician. So yeah, so a bit of everything, if I'm honest. The Pixies, I like the Pixies, been to see them. Would love to see Blondie, haven't seen them yet. Would love to have seen the Ramones, but obviously that didn't happen. That'll never happen, unfortunately. Although there's a girl band going around called the Ramones. Would like to go and see them. Good question. Roy Barrett. Hello, John. How's it going? It's going great, Roy. Thank you for coming into the live stream. Really appreciate that, mate. Brandon, I love cinemas. I also thought about it last year during the start of the pandemic. Honestly, after my wake slash viewing, I want to be cremated. If people want to see me, then they can while I'm alive and well. Yeah, that's a good point, actually, yeah, open coffin, can you imagine that? I know that if anybody knows G.G. Allen, he had an open coffin, and look what happened with that. Wow. I'm not surprised with him, mate. PlaytenderGuy says, what film would you like to get a 4K release? Well, I was talking this about on your live stream, actually. Definitely some more Kubrick stuff, Lolita and Barry Lyndon, two of them especially. There's a few of his really early ones I wouldn't mind seeing in 4K, although I don't think they would, because they're too obscure to sort of get. Wouldn't mind seeing The Killers by him. I would like to see any film that could look spectacular on 4K, done in the right way and released in the right. I mean, Terminator 2 would have been great if it was released properly, but it wasn't. So I know it's going to get re-released. But things like that, just classic movies, even older movies that you think should look good on 4K, I would love to see them on 4K. So Stanley Kubrick, I like to finish off his stuff, and I would also like to see a little bit more of Alfred Hitchcock as well. I think he could look great. Strangers on a Train, one of the best one of the best Alfred Hitchcock films that nobody talks about. That's in black and white. It would look absolutely stunning. Great comment though. Brandon loves cinema. I agree, Clark. Some modern digital made cover art is fine, but I also dislike how it is a modern reimagining of of it as well a bit. Alas, to each their own. I agree. I mean, I think that pictures, the posters that used to come out in the 70s when you used to walk by them, when you used to look at them in the cinema, they used to look stunning, and you were salivating wanting to get into there. But these days it doesn't happen that much. I mean, yeah, sometimes the covers the Blu-rays can be good, but I just think that it just seems to be missing out on this plethora of talent. You know, there's plenty of people like the people who draw the Mondo covers, like made Mondo covers or Mondo posters. Why aren't they putting more into the cinema posters? I agree on that one. Ryan of Beardhouse Musics says, have you seen the Evil Dead franchise? You better believe I have. It's just amazing. Absolutely amazing. I was lucky enough to see Evil Dead 2 in the cinema, one release. I saw Evil Dead obviously on a bootleg copy when it came around, and it was banned, but well, it was kind of banned, and you couldn't get a hold of it, but we all had copies of it. We used to pass them around. Loved it. The Evil Dead used to, when I first saw it, it petrified us. It doesn't anymore, although it is quite nasty compared to the other ones. I always think of the Evil Dead, the first one, to be quite funny in its own way. The Evil Dead 2 is a masterpiece, and obviously a little bit more funnier, and it just is everything that the Evil Dead probably wanted to be but couldn't be because it didn't have the budget. And Evil Dead 3 is, Army of Darkness, I do think it's a great movie. I love it, but I think it could have been just that touch better. I think it starts to tail off towards the end, and Ash versus the Evil Dead, the series, is just absolutely amazing. I love the way that they've sort of referenced all of the Evil Dead. I love how they have certain characters from the movie in it, in a way which I didn't realize they would ever do. And also, I don't know, I'm not a big fan of the remake, if I'm honest, but when me and my wife have watched all Evil Deads, we're going to watch them all again and watch the TV series again, because she's a big fan of it, even though she was petrified to watch the first one at the start. She's a big fan of Bruce Campbell. I really do need to get it to see Bubba Hotep, which is a brilliant film. And so for me, I'm going to ask if she wants to watch the Evil Dead remake. The last time I watched it with my son, and my son turned around when it got released, and he said, is this meant to be funny, but not a comedy, but funny? And I says, well, I'm not really scared by it, put it that way. But anyway, that's just my personal opinion. But yes, it's a brilliant franchise, and it's way up there. It's definitely in my top 5 franchises of all time. Might even be number 2. Clark Tettles says, I really want Nightmare on Elm Street or American Beauty on 4K. They would look great. I agree, Clark. I haven't seen, believe it or not, I haven't seen American Beauty, although I do know it's a brilliant film. Nightmare on Elm Street, I got the recent HMV box set, and I've got to say that I did flick the first one and see what it looked like. I haven't watched them yet. And I thought to myself, right, this looks lovely. So I could imagine them getting the original Nightmare on Elm Street, or do you want the full lot on 4K? I would like to see them in 4K. I would love to see the fact they've done 4K remastered of some of the Friday the 13th. They have got to come out in 4K, especially part 1. It's literally, it should be out by now. I'm so surprised that it hasn't been out there. Movie Database, hello mates. Who's your favorite horror icon? Well, it's a good question, actually. I've got to say, Kane Hodder would be right up there. I just think he's brilliant. I think he's so much into this horror, indelible into this horror, the horror thing. Horror icon. I don't really know, if I'm honest. There's a lot of people that I mean, I do think that, like Sir John Carpenter, Wes Craven, the people who made the really scary movies back in the day, love all their type of thing. I do like, actually, there's a few I could pull in from the Italian classics. There's a fella called, is it John somebody? And he acts in a lot of these, although he's not really, wouldn't call him a horror icon, but he's in a lot of these giallo films. I do like his stuff, and when he's in it, I think, yeah, that's someone I'd like to see. Klaus Kinski, I think he plays I think he just looks really like sinister and like sort of like, how can I put it? Like a really good bad guy, and you just didn't even know. He just needs to just turn up, and he looks like the bad guy. Yeah, there's a few. That's an interesting question. Probably, if I thought about it more, there'd be load more people I can think about. Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing, them two are just spectacular, especially when they're together in a movie. If somebody says to me, there's a movie on Italian, it's called whatever, I'll say who's in it. Peter Cushing, I'll say stick it on. Or Christopher Lee, definitely. Good question though. Blockbuster Bob. Top of my watch list is Memento and Blue Velvet, both first-time watches, so looking forward to them. Well, to be honest, I keep hearing about Memento and I haven't seen it, but I do think I know the premise of it, and I think that, if I'm honest, it's a movie that I definitely would go to. But Blue Velvet, it's absolutely amazing. I saw that when it came out in the video shop, and I've always been a big fan of it. I think that was the first time when I really realised who David Lynch was, because I think that was the time, if that was 86, that I realised, I put two and two together and goes, hang on a minute, this fella who's done this is actually the same bloke who made The Elephant Man. And I think that was when I had the sort of eye-opener to think, I need to see more of this stuff. And obviously he was putting some great stuff out at that time, so we went and saw all the David Lynch stuff in the 80s. So Blue Velvet, it's absolutely amazing. And also Dennis Hopper plays an amazing character in there called Frank. And I think when he was getting an interview with David Lynch, like for the job, David Lynch says, do you think you could like be Frank on the screen? And Dennis Hopper said, I am Frank. So yeah, you've got to see that one to believe it. It's just such a brilliant film. And it's very Lynchian as well, which is that's what I like. Brandon loves cinema. Yeah, I was mentioning the Kubrick film. I love John Carpenter's as well, but only 6 of his films. I rewatch George Romero a lot more as I am older, oddly enough. I do, yeah. So John Carpenter, I've got to admit, when his stuff that he did, the sort of really good John Carpenter movies, I'll watch them over and over again. But as it stands, maybe after Prince of Darkness, I kind of tail off from his stuff. I will kind of watch it, but I won't remember it that much, or think, like The Thing, you know, you've got to get this 4K, you've got to get the 4Ks of all the John Carpenter stuff. But that's the one that I do sort of tail off from him. George Romero, I do like his stuff. Probably, I think I like more of his movies than I do like John Carpenter's. Although George Romero, he tailed off as well at the end. So and Dario Argento as well. He's not made a movie for a while, and he's not made a good movie for a long while, which is a shame actually. Ryan of Beard House Movies, I haven't seen Clockwork Orange. You need to get on that, son. I'll tell you what, it's just brilliant. I mean, it's a hard one to describe. If you read the book, the book's great, but Clockwork Orange is just it's just out there. You'll never see another movie like it. I mean, the title, like A Clockwork Orange, that just says it all. You would not have a clue what you're going into, but you would know that it was just something special. Roy Barrett says, great t-shirt. Yeah, I got this at the show actually, when I went to see them in 2017, I'm going to say. What's the best gig you have been to? Mine was the Sex Pistols 1996 Finsbury Park Mental Day Out. Well, to be honest, I can imagine how much that was. Crazy. I haven't seen the Sex Pistols. I would love to have went to see them. I don't know if, well, I would go and see them now. That's daft to say I wouldn't. But to see the Sex Pistols, excuse me, at any time, but they were quite good in 96. As I think they were better in 96 than they were in 76, put it that way. I would love to see Sid live, but obviously that would have been a car crash. And so the best gig I've been to, there's been a few that I can say I've been blown away by. I think the best group of musicians that I've ever seen physically playing was Level 42. Saw them not so long ago, and they are exceptional musicians that you just look at, you can't believe what you're seeing. I've seen I've been, what are the gigs? Pixies, Slayer was great. Trying to think what the best one was, what you could say that we really enjoyed. Actually, to be honest, the Ruttles, really enjoyed the Ruttles. I got to meet Neil Innes after the show a couple of times and had a good chat with him. He's a nice guy. Unfortunately, he's just recently passed away. I was gutted about that. And so I would say the Ruttles, which sounds daft, but it was so good and so funny. And he was just he was really, good with the crowd and all that. And it was a good intimate setting as well. So you getting to meet the whole band, getting to sign a big poster. I've got a tour poster, all signed by the whole group. I've got CDs signed by him and everything. It was so great to meet Neil Innes as well, who was, as everybody knows, he was kind of like the member of Monty Python that nobody more he realised he was kind of nearly in Monty Python, but not quite. But yeah, I've seen quite a few, especially in the last couple of years. So Mogwai, which is the loudest noise I've ever seen in my life. Seen who else? Seen Public Image, Johnny Rotten, or John Lydon as he is there. So I have seen John Lydon. It was good. It was great. Actually, he's a lot taller than I thought he was going to be. But I'll tell you what, I would love £1 for every time he emptied his nostrils on the stage. He must have done it 1,000 times. Yeah, wow. Excuse me, I'll have to have a bit of a drink here. Clark Teddles says, I fell off my chair in excitement while watching the Clockwork Orange 4K trailer. I've been waiting for it since 2019. Well, me too. Actually, I don't think I've watched the trailer. I want to actually be wowed by just putting it on and seeing it purely on the 4K player. I mean, the Blu-ray looks exceptional. And don't forget, I first saw that on a bootleg. I think it was from France. And you could basically not see anything. And there was loads of dropouts and the colours were flashing all over the place because obviously you got them big solid colours at the start, the orange, the red, the blue. When it comes on, and it's solid as a rock now, but when you used to see it back in the day, it used to be just flashing like that because video players could not accept them type of colours. But yeah, I've been waiting for a long time now. I knew it was coming, and I knew there was a few years ago, probably 2019, they were talking about they were going to start working on it to release it theatrically. Obviously, that didn't happen because of the pandemic. But I would say that that the fact is that it's going to come out. I did want to watch it recently, actually, because I've been in a bit of a Stanley Kubrick mode, but I had to, because I didn't want to go near to the Blu-ray because I didn't want to spoil it for me 4K, but I wanted my 4K experience to come and be the total package. Fall off your chair, though. That's great, though. You know, that's the best way to describe your reaction to something. I fell off the chair watching the trailer. Excuse me. PlaytenderGuy, what is the most watched film in your collection? I was thinking about this the other day, actually. I must admit, it's The Elephant Man. It's got to be The Elephant Man. I've watched it countless times. I did go through phases where I didn't watch it for a bit, a couple of years, but I must have watched that more than any other film. I've got to have. What film do you own the most times? Well, funny enough, it's A Clockwork Orange. I don't double dip. I try not to double dip. In fact, I used to be crazy on double dipping. I've kind of that's why I'm a bit unsure about the 4K with the Arrow stuff. Actually, say for instance, I've got some 4K remasters up there of other films like Pieces, The Hills of Eyes, and if they released them on 4K, I don't think I would upgrade to that, because to be honest, the 4K on the like The Hills of Eyes and Pieces, they're quite adequate. Excuse me, I'll tell you what. I think it's the heating here. They're all right. Don't get us wrong, but then again, I think I'm going to end up with two versions of all these movies. And what I've noticed with, especially with Bird with Crystal Plumage, most of the special features they're exactly the same. There's no new special features, and also the packaging. Some of the packaging is exactly the same. Like all cards are exactly the same all cards, even though the back's a bit different. But that's not really what you want to see. You want brand new stuff throughout, and that way it becomes a little bit of a sort of worth getting, because these are just, so I'm going to have to curtail that a little bit. So for me, I'm not going to do that as much as I was going to do it. And also, it's definitely Clockwork Orange. I've got it all over the place. In fact, when I do me Clockwork Orange, when I do get it and unbox it, I will show all my Clockwork Orange movies. Now, the funny thing is about Clockwork Orange, as it is with Stanley Kubrick, apart from The Shining, the one version you see is the one version you're going to get. Stanley Kubrick was famous for destroying, all the negatives to his movies, so there couldn't be any other version made. So for me, Clockwork Orange, it's never going to have, it's just going to have more extras. It's going to have never have anything else apart from a better picture. So yeah, Clockwork Orange. The Trailer Project says, I'd recommend The Wailing. I've heard that a few times. A lot of people talk about that. One of the best South Korean films in recent years. Have you seen it? I haven't seen it, but I have heard a lot of people talk about it. So the fact that people talk about it must be good. But yes, I'll bear that one in mind. What is your favorite Argento film? My favorite Argento film, without a shadow of a doubt, even though I love Suspiria, is Deep Red. It's got everything. It's a giallo. It's got an amazing story. It's got amazing visuals. The soundtrack is unbelievable, and it just ticks all the boxes. It's one of the ones I saw last, actually. I think in all the times I was getting back to watching the early Dario Argento ones, it was one of the ones that I thought I went. It was hard to get, actually, a little bit hard to get in the UK on DVD, but I found it, and then when I got it, I thought this is such a good film. But interestingly enough, I do like the shorter version better than the longer version, which you don't often find, if I'm honest. Clark says, just imagine the Clockwork Orange 4K cover with the original poster. What that would look absolutely brilliant. Yes, I do. I do think it would. I mean, the poster, I've got a version of the poster. It's just a postcard. It's actually downstairs in my garage. I would love to have I would love to have some artwork of Clockwork Orange to some extent on my wall. And I've been to my wife a few times and said she usually accepts anything I put on the wall. I've got some Misfit stuff. I've got this humongous Slayer poster, which is 6 foot high, believe it or not. I don't know where we're going to put it, but she did say she would allow it up. But I don't know where I'm going to put it. Probably put it on the roof. But she's always said, don't put a Clockwork Orange picture up. So there you go. I would love to have one though. But Blockbuster Bob says, I enjoyed The Wailing. Just watched it recently. Well, in that case, it's going to be one of the ones that I'm going to have to get, definitely. Excuse me. Tell you what. Should have had some of this before. Come on. Or a bit of Tixie Licks. Forgotten World of Andy. Forgotten World of Movies. Andy. Hi, John. Hope you're doing well. Yes, I'm doing great, Andy. How are you doing? Andy's got a great channel, by the way, and a great knowledge in movies. And I tell you what, if you're ever on a quiz with Andy, just know that you're always going to come. The highest you're going to come is second. You'll never come first. Isn't that right, Andy? Andy Benton says, noticed on your Dead and Buried review that you had the novelization. Do you have many? I have loads from back in the day. Well, actually, I've got quite a few, if I'm honest. I've got a lot of books in the loft. I do want to go in there and just to see what they actually are. I hope that the rats haven't got to them. And so I will definitely I'll definitely go up there and get it. So yes, I used to have Day of the Dead, sorry, Dawn of the Dead, which is now available in that the box set for Dawn of the Dead. I used to have that, but I don't know what happened to that. Maybe, like I say, a lot of these may be upstairs in the loft. But I had that. I had some Nightmare on Elm Streets. I had a lot of them actually, because to be honest, sometimes that was the only way you could, Jaws, the only way you could actually revisit the movie, because the fact is that it was always, shall I say, you couldn't watch anything, could you, until the advent of videos. So yeah, I did get quite a lot of them actually. So it was weird to see the actual, on the special features on Dead and Buried, to see the actual person who wrote it talking about how she wrote it, and that to see that person was quite good. It was a great extra, that. Martin Geary says, what is your best 4K transfer of the year so far, and your favorite 4K transfer in your collection? Well, my favorite 4K transfer in my collection is definitely Jaws, but it's very close, and I mean very closely, followed by Apocalypse Now. The Apocalypse Now in some places looks unbelievable. It's flawless. I wouldn't say that in the full movie. I do enjoy Jaws more as a movie, but my rankings always go on what the picture quality is. So say if I got Mary Poppins and it was the best one, it would go to number one, just because it is the best looking one. But what I would say is that Jaws for me just pips it, but Apocalypse Now is definitely right up there as well. And my best 4K transfer of the year so far, that's a tough one actually, because I have watched some 4Ks. Wow, I'm going to say, well, to me, well, the one I've seen, the best one I've seen this year is definitely Apocalypse Now. You can't fault it, apart from, like I say, a few shots which are just due to the fact of a couple of things happening at the same time. So I'll definitely say that. I'm going to say best one is Jaws. Best one I've seen this year is Apocalypse Now, and I haven't really seen any new movies that are released this year, if I'm honest. I can't think I bought anything that's brand new. Although, no, that joke is from a while ago. So yeah, I'm going to say that. Clark says, my True Romance 4K, my True Romance 4K is taking ages. It's been about 20 business days. I will give them a ring, but we all know how that's going to turn out. Well, Clark, I must admit I've seen you say the same thing quite a few times on other live streams, and I can feel your pain, because I know Australia is always the last. They always get like a rum deal when it comes to shipping stuff. You always seem to have to wait that bit extra time. You have to pay a large amount of money. But obviously, coupled with that, you're dealing with Zavi, and Zavi are I must admit, I don't deal with them a lot. The last thing I need to do is deal with them, and I only deal with them if there's no other option. So I just really hope it comes. But the whole thing, I know how other people have been in touch with Zavi, and I know the whole like soap opera it turns into when they're trying to get somebody to actually take any notice of them, and you get the standard replies of just like, oh, we're really trying hard to like sort this out for you, just bear with us and all that. But I do think I never have this problem with Amazon or Arrow. So there you go, or HMV. So it just shows you that there's something the matter with Zavi in general. But I hope you get it, Clark, because you must have been. I tell you what, the time you get that, True Romance 2 will be out. Wow. PlaytenderGuy says, what is your favorite collector's edition release you own? I'm going to say that it's probably the Demons 1 and 2 4K from Arrow. It's got everything I could want it. The box is a little bit strange. Excuse me. Because it opens up like that. I could have preferred a little bit of a different opening, but I've got to say the stuff that's got in it, the movies have been. Now that's the thing, right? Arrow went back and chose a film that was very much hadn't been touched for a long time, and then went and remastered it to 4K and done an absolutely exceptional job. So for me, that's the type of movies they want to be doing. They want to be going right back into the sort of back catalogue and saying, right, we haven't touched this movie for yonks, and it's had a 2K remaster at the best. Let's do a version on that. Now, I do think that they're not really doing that. They're going to the sort of lazy route where they've already done a 4K master, so they just take the 4K and chuck it on a disc with not that much extra. So, yeah, but I would definitely say Demons 1 and 2, I just love that set. It's got everything in it that I could want. And plus, it's got the golden ticket that you get to get into the Metropole, the theatre, to watch the film. That's a brilliant little touch. I wish they would do that more, actually. Brandon says, nice musical selections there. Yes. Me and my wife used to go to the gigs a lot. That's obviously in the days when you could go to the gigs. And I've seen Wasp as well. I didn't think my wife would go and see Wasp. That was brilliant. And so we've got, who else did we see? We saw Beyond Again, the ABBA tribute band, which that was amazing. Actually, that was one of my favorites. That the whole crowd in that was just crazy. I've never seen a crowd participation getting into a gig like Beyond Again. They were so funny. Was it a comedy thing as well as seeing ABBA music? Clark says, I've been saving my money for when lockdown is over. When it's over, I will be going to CEX and buying 100 films. I have never bought films in CEX, only looked at it. 4K films, like $2. Yes, please. Well, I hope your CEX is a little bit better than ours, because sometimes you can get some good stuff in there. There's a video actually that's dropping tonight at 6 o'clock where I show you what I've been. I went to CEX the other day, and I also went yesterday morning because I had a bit of spare time, so I nipped up there. I got some good stuff actually, so that video is going to come tonight. So sometimes you can get some great stuff in CEX, and sometimes you can get some utter trash. I mean, if anyone saw that one that I put on Instagram where in the 4K section, they had a reprinted cover of Batman the 1989 movie in a Blu-ray box, the 4K, no slip, printed cover, and it was £15, which you could get in HMV round the corner for the same price, shrink wrapped, sealed, slip cover. I just don't know what they're thinking of sometimes. Although I did see yesterday, I did see that Dawn of the Dead. There was two Dawn of the Deads. One of them was just like, it was both the Arrow versions, the limited editions, and one of them had nothing with it, and there was no slipcover, no nothing. That was £25 or £22. And the other one that had all the stuff with it was £22. So what they're doing? Why knock off? Well, at least £10. That's something where you're just getting the box and the discs. Wow. But yeah, that'll be an interesting video, Clark, to see what you get. I would love to watch that video actually to see. Make sure you do a video on that one. I'd be very interested in that one. PlaytenderGuy says, "What popular or iconic films haven't you seen?" For me, it's it's Halloween, The Matrix, Evil Dead. Well, Peter, I do know that when you're on your streams that you do say there's a lot of movies. Now, in a way, that's going to be good for you because you're going to get these classics for the first time, which I can remember the first, well, sometimes I don't remember the first time in my movies. I would love to have that experience again to see movies like that. But I've got to say that, I mean, they're all highly recommended. You've got to go and see those movies. It's just a no-brainer for that one. So I would say for me, the popular ones that I haven't seen would be, now I'm going to rattle off some of the ones here. You might be shocked, but it's just movies that don't appeal to us. Forrest Gump, haven't seen that one. Haven't seen many Tom Hanks films, if I'm honest. Don't really, his acting doesn't really appeal to me, if I'm honest. And although I do love The Burbs and Toy Story. So popular ones, that's funny because there's a lot I haven't seen, believe it or not. And I'd seem to be more into the cult stuff. I seem to just navigate more of that. I seem to like offbeat movies, ones that are just not really talked about. It's just something I've always been interested in. That's going to be a hard one. That one. There's a lot of like some of the newer films I don't really go for. There's a lot like Suicide Squads. I haven't got any attention to seeing any of those ones. But I did like the Zack Snyder cut of the Justice League, but the other one, Justice League, didn't want to go to there. So really, it's a case of not really. It's one of the ones where you think there's just a certain sort of movie that I don't really go for, and most of these movies are in that. But I can't think of many at this point. But you'd be surprised at how many I haven't seen actually. And the more, shall I say, the more mainstream movies that I don't really go for, I don't really like to watch. Not really like to watch, but they're not really ones that I actively seek out. But you do need to get on Halloween and the Evil Dead. You will love them. They are something to behold. Niels Johansson, hey, nice to catch you live. Yes, you too, Niels. Thanks very much for joining. I know I've had lots of chats on comments and that, but yes, first time to speak to you live. Great to speak to you. Great to speak to everybody actually, because when I did that last number 2 live stream, and I didn't see any of these comments because they were like kind of hidden. That was a bit of a nightmare, wasn't it? But I do appreciate everybody turning up to that one, even though I didn't speak to anybody at that point. So at the moment, I've got 21 people watching, so that's brilliant actually at this time. I know it's a bit of an odd time, but I was looking to do this this week, and also me work schedule. I like to have a work life balance, and I think at the moment it's a bit work heavy. So just to know that the videos will be they'll all come out, but I'm going to have to sort of be working more than off, if you know what I mean. So that's a great. That's why I had to come on this time, because I wouldn't have had any other time this week. I didn't want it to go too long, but I did definitely want to do a live stream. Now I could do one. So PlaytenderGuy says, what are some of your favorite Japanese movies? I do like Japanese movies. In fact, I love them. I've got some great ones and some scrammer mail from the movie hater, aka Korishia Ishii. He sent me some. They're up there, and I've started watching them. I'm still early on into them. They're more silent than not, and they're just absolutely brilliant. So and I can't remember the director's name, but I do know that any sort of Japanese movie, and there's a lot J horror ones that I like. Obviously, Audition's right up there because that's just wow, what a film that is. I like Battle Royale, of course. Everyone likes Battle Royale. I'm trying to get my wife to watch that, but I don't know if she's going to go there. And I do think that There's a lot of them. There's a lot of Arrow ones do a load of Japanese horror one, or Japanese, shall I say, kind of samurai ones, and also like crime ones, like a bit like sort of like spy thriller things. They're all right actually. But I do, and Yakuza Law, which I keep saying that, and if anyone hasn't seen Yakuza Law for 1969, it's one of the most brutal things I've ever seen in my life. So you've got to watch that. I mean, it's always in the sale in HMV when it comes up. So try and get, if you want to see a really good samurai sort of thing, Yakuza Law in Arrow. Absolutely amazing. Chris Kennington says, having a bit of a clear out of my Blu-ray collection and got a small dilemma where I own many good movies, but I don't think I ever want to go back and do it again. One of two. The second part is, so is it best to sell on or keep in collection collecting dust? What's your take on this? Love your channel, mate. Thanks very much, Chris. I really appreciate that, actually. It's funny because when you're talking, well, actually, when you pass 1,000 subs, I don't know if anybody else finds this, when you pass 1,000 subs, you don't actually get any notifications for anybody subscribing to your channel, because it would like say, you know, PlaytenderGuy has subscribed to your channel. It doesn't come up with anything like that now. You just see a subscriber list going up. Now that's a bit of a shame actually, because you would like to know who the people are, who the extra people are after the 1,000. I don't know why YouTube stopped doing that, but they do, unfortunately. So it's nice to see some names on here that I haven't really seen before. So yes, so you answer your question, Chris, is that's a tough one. If I'm honest, it's a tough one. The good movies, you don't think you ever want to go back again. Now I've got shelves, and it's got 2,000 capacity. It's not full yet, as you can see. There's a bit of space there, not much, but it's going to be full, because all the stuff I've got in there needs to go in there, because I need to get all these put in. There's a lot of stuff there needs to be put back in the shelves. So I'm going to end up with too many on there. And what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to say, I'd only want 2,000 on there, but I'm going to have to look for either other places to store them, for ones that I don't think, like you say, if you've got those ones that are a bit, you're not really going to go there again, but I would say put them in a separate box or a separate place, keep them on one side, and then if you haven't even bothered to look at them for months and months and months, then that might be a way to say, I think it's time to let them go. I don't really like letting films go, because you usually say, even if it's one of the ones that you think this is just utter rubbish, why did I get it? I got it, I didn't like it. It's going to go. You might think in the future you might want to go back and get it. I might want to see it. But usually these ones, the ones you're probably getting, you can probably pick up for next to nothing anyway. So I would say put them in a sort of second storage thing, and then go back to them after a while and say, are any of these worth it? And if you haven't even thought about them, there might be time to let them go. It's a tough question. Or build another shelf. I would love to build another shelf over there, but my wife says no. Although she did say she would, because I'd said when my son moves out of his room, I'd said, can I not just get that room and put the whole lot in there? She said no, because what happens when guests stop? And I says, well, they're going to look at shelves. I mean, they're not going to be that bothered. But she says, well, you can do it all in here, which is a bit mental, but never mind. But anyway, so yeah, more shelves or storage. But good question, actually. And it is, I mean, how many of us collectors have had that dilemma? Wow. Roy Barrett, Porsche has just been Blade Trilogy Blu-ray from eBay, brand new, a tenner, bargain. That is a tenner as well. I didn't know that you would, well, did I know there was a Blade Trilogy? But, well, I did know it was a Blade Trilogy. I didn't know if you could buy it as a set. That's all right, though. eBay. So I think eBay is a little bit weird at the minute, because you've got this whole thing where you've got to like pay eBay, and then eBay pays somebody, then you don't get your stuff very quickly. But I used to use eBay a lot, but I don't really use it that much. Wow. But it is a bargain there. Movie Worm, Jordan, just on my break in work. John, hello. Hello, Jordan, you all right? Great channel, great guy. Me and him have got a lot of history on this channel. I find that he's one of the first people who was sort of like chatted to us, and just as people are starting out on YouTube, it's great to sort of be noticed by people, and and Jordan did that to me, so I was got a lot of time for Jordan. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. It's great to just think, why don't you just not go back to work? Just sit and have a break and just listen to chit chat. Roy says, all right, Jordan. Movie Worm says, hey, Roy. Brandon says, I've met Kane at 2 horror conventions. He's fairly nice and sociable. Well, yeah, Kane. Yeah, I do. I think we've been a few WWEs, me, my son, and my wife. I saw them at Newcastle, and some of them were all right. Actually, we didn't see Kane. I would like to see Kane. So I think some of these actually, when you do go and meet some of your heroes, and you sometimes you can be a bit, wow, they're not nice. I must admit, all the people I've met after gigs and stuff like that, when you go up and you chat to them, 99% of them have been good. Obviously, everyone knows when you see Doyle from the Misfits, you don't get much chit chat out of them. If you just get a few grunts out of them or cheers, that's about all you're going to get from him. But that's just what it is. I think he's got social anxiety. Actually, you wouldn't imagine that somebody like Doyle would have social anxiety, but he says quite openly, "So I just don't like talking to people." That's what he says. I think some people say the things he doesn't like people. I don't think he actually says that, because he is quite good with some of his fans. He's quite good with when they bring the kids around. He's really, although the kids are petrified of him. Well, they would be. He's about 6'9". Anyway, yeah. So Kane, yeah, I've seen a few wrestlers. I haven't met any of the wrestlers. I would like to have met them, but I think the least they can do is if they meet people, they should be nice to them, not standoffish. Andy Benton says John Morgan, I think, is the Italian guy. Yeah, John Morgan, or Giovanni Lombardo Radici. I think that is. That's probably getting that completely wrong. Yes, he is. He's in loads of these movies, and I think he's all right. Actually, you see him talking quite a bit. I've actually spoken a few times on Facebook way back when. He was all right. He's quite an interesting guy, actually, although he has a lot of bad things to say about some of the directors he works with, especially Umberto Lenzi. Him and John Morgan didn't get along at all. Wow. Clark says some more Tarantino films on 4K would be nice. Yes, I do agree with that. But Tarantino isn't a fan of digital films on 4K. It's sad. I think it would look amazing, especially Hateful Eight. Yes, due to it being shot in 70mm. Yeah, 100% agree. I don't understand why he would not want it on 4K, because, to be honest, now, funny enough, the only one he's got in 4K is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And I must admit, I was a bit sort of underwhelmed by that 4K, although I thought, I've got to get it because it's the only one in 4K. And I was a bit, it's not that good. So he must have oversaw that. So I'm a little bit surprised to think that he would go and not really care for that, which I do think that some of his earlier films will look exceptional on 4K. I mean, they've got to. They were shot in film. So, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, definitely Hateful Eight, because I keep meaning to go back to that, but I'm of the opinion it's definitely going to come out in 4K sometime. So I don't, because it's that long, I don't want to watch it and then the 4K can come out next week and you think, oh, well, I've just watched the film, because I don't really watch. I wouldn't say I watched his films all the time, although I used to watch them on loop back in the day. Brandon says, I agree, Clark. It is shot so brilliantly. I really wish that he had braced the format more. Oh, well. Yeah, it's the whole 70mm was I remember when it came out, I didn't really get the fact of what it was until the making of was on the disc, and he was mentioning it, the Hateful Eight, because obviously the black bars are that like crushed because of the 70mm. It's like the widest format, but obviously the thinnest picture. But it looks spectacular, and the actual soundtrack from Ennio Morricone as well is just next level. Of course, it is. So yes, I knew that he wanted to shoot one in 70mm because he wanted a 70mm experience. But yeah, maybe I think it's a very sort of pricey format to go, because you've got to get these movie cameras that aren't really stored anywhere. You've got to get the film. So I don't think it's a cheap or easy process to do, I believe. Roy75 says, hi Roy75, how are you doing? Hope you're doing all right. I notice he's got the Lauren Hardy in his little screen, his little icon there, which is great. Love Lauren Hardy. I mean, who doesn't? Brandon says, recently I found the complete audio of Tarantino on Joe Rogan's podcast here on YouTube. I love that toward the end of I love that toward the end he made a mention of the 83 Breathless remake. I adore that film. Yeah, I tell you, I haven't heard that film mentioned for a long time. Yes, I do remember that film, Breathless, and it was all right. I do remember that. So the on the Joe Rogan's podcast, he has the complete audio of. Oh, sorry. Yeah, the complete audio of Tarantino. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I thought you meant the soundtrack. Just me. I'm surprised I can see this. Actually, I haven't got my glasses on. Ryan of Beard House Movies says, I think we need an Arrow release of In the Mouth of Madness. Yes, that movie seems to just not get much love, if I'm honest. It seems to come out here and there, and it's not really talked about. A lot of Carpenter stuff seems to be, you get the big ones, which everyone's loves, quite rightly, and the ones that are just released just a little bit before or after from his golden period don't seem to get talked about. Yes, I do. I think Arrow should get and release a lot more of these, how can I put it, obscure films, the ones that used to release all the time, and they don't really release anymore, which is a bit of a shame. They seem to be falling a little bit back on the 4Ks. Now that's good, and they're doing 4Ks of like films like True Romance, which they haven't released now. That's good. That's a good one. Demons, great. But the one they just sort of like Donnie Darko, and they've just released it, and then they're going to release, which it looks great on the disc, although I haven't watched it yet. And then they released the 4K, and then obviously they made a mess of the 4K as well. This is how can I put it? It just seems like they're not doing what they used to do, and what they used to do is release movies. I've got loads of movies up there which I was after for years, and they released great movies, great versions of it. Dear me. So yeah, I agree. I do agree with that, and I do think in general they need to get back to releasing some more obscurities, because I think they've proved themselves to be a good releasing label, but they need to not forget where they came from. A bit like 88 films are taking up their sort of taking their lead on it, because 88 are the ones that I seem to be buying loads more 88 films than I do of Arrow at this point. Brandon says, I'm very similar. I dislike Argento's mid-90s work onward. That seems very uninspired and pedestrian. Exactly. The same with Carpenter's 90s films and the final two from George Romero. Yes, I agree 100%. It's a shame that those are the big hitters in the 70s and 80s. They were the ones, when you saw a movie coming out from them, you just knew you were in for something special. And I think Carpenter was the most, he was just hit. Well, they weren't hits actually, but they were like good movie after good movie. They were just like amazing. Then he kind of tailed off. But I think Argento, just when you think of the likes of Argento, what he did in the 70s and the 80s, and then saw his late 90s stuff, like the movie that he put out, like Giallo, I think it was about 2009, I think, and it was really, I mean, the theory behind it, he thought, oh, he's going to embrace Giallo again, which it wasn't. And I went, wow, this is such a waste of time. And unfortunately, I do rate that stuff very highly from them three directors, but it's a shame to have to say that they do kind of tail off and do get stuff that anybody could make. And I think that nobody could make their stuff. Nobody could do what Carpenter did in his heyday. Same with George Romero, and the same with Argento. But these days, there's 10,000 people more who could make better versions than they could, which is a big shame. I think that's why they don't actually make anything anymore. Brandon also says, I adore Romero, but when he expatriated to live in Canada in the greater Toronto area, his work sadly largely suffered. Yeah, I remember hearing that as well. Yeah, he seemed to sort of lose his spark. I do agree that he was putting out some classics. I'm really looking forward to Martin. If anybody doesn't know, John Amplis is on Facebook. I haven't talked to him for a while, but he's if you had him as a friend, he chats with anybody. He's such a nice guy. That's Martin actually, and he's a really, really nice bloke actually, one of the best. Roy Barrett says, has the level 42 guitarist lengthened his guitar strap yet? He used to have it round his neck. Well, it's a little bit lower, but it's not as low as it's as say like D.D. Ramone used to have. He's now tripping over his bass guitar. No, I think because he has that whole the rubber thumb thing going on. I don't think there's no way you can sort of play that round by his knees. But yes, yeah, I think that's a thing with sort of like what's it called when you do that that sort of thing. It's like I can't remember what it's called now, but it's I think they've got to have it up there, haven't they? But yeah, I know. Brandon says Kubrick's stuff, oddly enough, saved for Eyes Wide Shut, looks amazing on Blu-ray. Oddly enough, in his will, he said he only ever have his films in standard definition, reportedly. So odd. I think I've heard something about that as well. I know he wasn't a big fan of certain things to do with this movie, and I do know there was a fella who a friend of mine on Facebook called Joe, and he was doing some work, and he had to work in Stanley Kubrick's house. This was after he died, and I think he was actually doing some shifting around of his stuff, moving about, and that I don't know in what capacity it was, but I always remember that he said that the stuff he had and the actual the way he had it all put together was crazy. Like how organized it was. He said it was absolutely nuts to see this stuff in this presentation. But yeah, I know he had this. I know that Kubrick had this whole like stranglehold over his stuff, and he didn't like anybody going near it or touching it or anything. He's just really. I know what you're saying, and he didn't. He very rarely did it in anything in widescreen. He did everything full screen as well, which is fair enough. But yeah, he's a funny director. I've got to admit, he's got his own ways, and his ways are the way, and there's no other way about it. Bit of a megalomaniac, I think. Lockdown Stash, hello there, yo, what's good, man? It's all good. Nice to see you on here, and hope you're doing well. And I know you've just had a new addition to your family, so that's great to hear. And yeah, I'm doing good, and I hope you're doing good as well. And keep on watching them kung fu movies, especially Jackie Chan. Forgotten World of Movies, Andy. Oops, that's jumped a little bit. Just moving that back there. What's one of your favorite Arrow releases? I picked up Why Don't You Just Die in the Arrow sale on your recommendation, so I'll be watching that soon. Honestly, that is amazing. It's one of those ones where I thought, with a title like that and the actual premise of it, it looks like it could be spectacular, and it was. It's one of the best films I've seen recently, if I'm honest. It looks amazing. The actual the violence slash comic violence slash really bad violence in it is just it's just great. I think it's got more to do with the editing of the film. I think it's just edited that well that I think that you're gonna have a great time with that. I know you'll love that film. It's such an eye opener, and it's a debut film of this guy, so I'm really interested to see what he does. What's one of your favorite Arrow releases? There's that many actually. If I'm honest, I love all the ones I've done with Argento. I love all the really obscure ones like Microwave Massacre, because they're ones that I used to love on VHS, and then to see them in a really good pristine version is brilliant. I do like actually one I was watching a little bit of yesterday called Catfight. That's a brilliant film. That mind, if no one's ever seen that one, that's got a really good reversal, without giving any of the plot away, reversal of fortunes. Somebody's really rich and then somebody's really poor, and the roles reverse. But in the meantime, these people don't really like each other, these two women, and they fight like literally to the death every time they see each other. Which it's a brilliant film. That so Catfight actually, it looks spectacular, because a lot of these films I've gotten on Arrow I haven't really looked at my 4K player and had that little bit of an upgrade on it. So for me, I'm going to say Catfight. If you haven't seen Catfight, go and have a check of it. It's a US film, so it's not no subtitles or anything. But yeah, very good. Leslie V says, how do you keep track of your collection? I use my movies app. To be honest, I would love to do something like that, but really the best thing about this is they're just all there. I can kind of see them whenever I want to. So I can keep a good eye on them. I can obviously go to certain sections because there's stuff over there that needs to be put over here. I've got all the indicator ones there. I've got some Eureka ones that need to be put back in there. I've got some DVDs that need to be going there, a couple of 4Ks. I've got some sort of pound shop ones. I've got some horror ones that need to go in there. I've got all them Humphrey Bogart premium collection ones that need to go in there, and I've got some other sort of miscellaneous ones in the 4K. So yeah, it's you. To be honest, I don't have anything. I just have the fact I can see them all the time. They're actually in full view. But if they weren't, say they were in a cupboard, or they were like in a place where I don't get to see all the time, I would definitely do something like that. But I'm glad, thankfully, I can actually watch. And I think if I wanted to, I could actually take photographs of them and just zoom in and see if I was ever at work and I thought I wouldn't mind watching a movie. I can sort of zoom in these photographs and see what I've got. But I do agree that them things are a pretty good thing to have. Like actually, Leslie. Steve Max says, "Hello, Steve. You all right? Speaking of banned movies, what do you think of Ken Russell's The Devils? Recently intrigued and picked up the BFI DVD, no Blu-ray available, as it had the best cut available." That's now funny enough. If you watch my video that's coming out tonight, I do speak about The Devils very briefly, mind. But I've got to say that I watched The Devils not way too young, but I watched it at a young age. I didn't really understand if I was once because Ken Russell, some of his films are good and some films are really bad. He's a very hit and miss director. He had a strange way of directing, I found. But I've got a feeling that I do want, for some reason, that's the one that I want to see the most uncut. And will we ever see it? I don't think. Apparently, allegedly, legend has that the Devils does have an uncut way of. There is sort of the whole full version is there somewhere. I don't know if it's actually been put together. It might be one of those ones that they're going to have to sort of piece together from versions or negatives that they've got stored away somewhere. So I don't know if we ever will see one. I would love to see a full version of it because I remember that the Devils being quite shocking. I do remember I was shocked with it. I don't know if I totally got the idea behind it, but mind you, there's a lot of Ken Russell's movies that I never got anyway. And so I'll be interested to actually see yourself what you would think of that. I'll be trying to get in touch with you in the future to say, because I do want to see The Devils again. I did watch Jess Franco's, was it Jess Franco's? Yeah, version of it, which he entitled The Demons, and that was utter garbage. So don't ever go there. It's one of the rare ones that I thought this has got to go. But yeah, so watch the video tonight, Steve, if you can, and you'll see why I'm talking about The Devils actually. But I've been thinking about that movie a lot recently. That's a strange sort of one to go for. Euphoria Pictures, Keith says, if there was one movie out there that left a lasting impression on you, what would it be and why? That's a good question. I'll have to say, obviously, Elephant Man, because that left the impression, just to be in my mind, and it's still there. I still have the same feelings when I watch it. So I'd have to put the Elephant Man in there, but that's probably going to be too much of a too much of a expected answer. I would say you're talking about things like maybe Deep Red, because I didn't get what the whole giallo was until I watched that, and that was like the definitive giallo, and I went, wow, I've got to. That was one that made me think I've got to see more giallos. And obviously as well, Clockwork Orange. Getting back to Clockwork Orange, I do know that I'd read the book about 1,000 times and I couldn't see the film, so I needed to see the film. And we watched it on a trashy VHS copy, and it was awful. But when I actually did get my hands on it and watch it, and at first, it was like it made me think this is so good, and then it made me think who directed it. And it was at that time when you know that The Shining's out there, but you don't. I think when I was younger, I never took any notice of who directed what. So I didn't know that Stanley Kubrick directed The Shining, stuff like that. I hadn't seen 2001 at that point. And so, yeah, so I would say, but the one movie would have to be Elephant Man. And it made me just think that much about that person, the real life plight of John Merrick. And it made me think, wow. So, and so yeah, I'm going to say that one, but it's pretty obvious, that one. I mean, there must be a lot of, I mean, A Star is Born, I thought this is going to be just a bit of rubbish, and I thought this was one of the best films I'd seen, especially for Lady Gaga's performance. There's another movie that we've both talked about, actually, when we're talking to each other, and it's Casino. And I was interested to see when you mentioned on one of live streams somewhere that you said Casino, the ending of Casino, left that much of a sort of shock value for you. You didn't want to go and see that movie again. And I thought, my God, that's how exactly how I feel. I was enjoying that movie up until the end, and I thought it was that brutal that I thought, I don't want to go and see this again. And I thought to myself, I thought, I'm surprised at me. I've seen some gruesome stuff on film, but that was, for me, was just so gratuitous in a bad way. I thought I could never go back there. So yeah, so that did leave an lasting impression, and it made me think I never want to see that movie again. Although I do admit it's a good movie, but for that last scene, it just went, wow, this is just a bit too much. Brandon says, just curious, where is everybody here in the chat room from? Just curious. Well, I'm I'm from Whitley Bay, which is just outside Newcastle in the northeast of England. I've lived here for most of my life, but not all of my life. I've lived in other places. I've lived in Baker briefly. I've lived in Burden briefly. Burden. So don't go to Burden. That's my thing. But I consider Whitley Bay to be my sort of homestead. I lived here for the largest portion of my life. Roy said he's from Warwickshire, near Stratford upon Avon. I've never been down there. I've never been to a lot of places, actually, when I think about it. So Leslie V says, recently just moved to the UK, Yateley, Hampshire. Now, these are also, that's maybe from down south. Brandon loves cinema. Deep Red is a great giallo style thrasher thriller. For me, it's a personal tie between 1982's Tenebrae, aka Unsane, and 1985's surreal and dreamlike phenomena, aka Creepers. I do admit I do like them films. I think they're really good. I don't know what it is. Deep Red just has that extra bit. I think it's the music. I think it's the whole premise of it. Now, I do remember, without going into too much spoilers, a friend of mine, John Hall, Holgoss73, he's got a channel on here, but he doesn't put anything on, which I wish he would do. He's going to be coming to my house in the next couple of weeks. And I said to him, I said, do you want to do a live stream with us? So the pair were actually on this live stream together. Probably have to do it downstairs. And he says, yeah, he probably would. Now, he's got a fantastic knowledge of all this type of thing, and he would be a great person to answer most of these type of questions. So I'm hoping that he'll come on, if he wants to. And so I don't know what I'm talking about there. I've lost my train of thought. And yes, so he had said to me, he says, before I'd watched Deep Red, now weirdly enough, I watched Deep Red, and then I got my wife to watch Deep Red, and I got my son to watch Deep Red as well, me knowing what's in it. And he had said to me, quite rightly, when you watch Deep Red, if it's going to be a first time ever watching Deep Red, remember this, and it's not going to spoil the film at all, that this guy, as it happens in most of the giallo films, he sees something and he doesn't exactly know what he's quite saw, but he thinks about all the film to think this is probably going to be pertinent to what the person I'm looking for is. So anyway, he knows he's seen something. So my friend John Hall said, if you're watching this movie and you see something, it'll make you see this movie in a different way. If you don't see it, then you'll see it in a different way. Now, I'd obviously watched it, and I did see the thing that he was talking about. So I'd saw it in the way I watched it. Now, my wife watched it, and she didn't see it. And she watched, in her eyes, a completely different film than the one I was watching. Now, it was great to see her reception, and I think did my son see it? I think he did see it. So anyway, so that's a great thing about Deep Red. That's why, for me, it's just perfection. But I do rate Tenebrae and Phenomena as well, actually. But I do think Tenebrae, for me, is better. I get a better thing out of it than I do Phenomena. Well, good question, actually. Good point. Brandon says, nice. I was born in Nashville, Tennessee, to parents from Southeast Missouri region. I grew up in Jackson, Tennessee, hometown of rockabilly legend Carl Perkins. Yeah, I've heard of him. Big fan of, what's his name? Wow, I'm going to blank on that. Big fan of, I'll have to have a think about it. I love it. Johnny Cash. Big fan of Johnny Cash. I know he played with Carl Perkins quite a bit. So, yeah, so I'm a bit familiar with that area. Well, on movies and stuff. Ryan says, I got 2 reviews to make for my channel, and movies I'm going to be reviewing is The Witch and Maggie with Arnie himself. I've got Maggie, it's up there somewhere. I did really like that film. I didn't think I was going to like it, and say halfway through I thought, is this up to much? But by the end of it, I did think it was quite a good movie. But I haven't seen The Witch. Is that the one with the witch is spelt really strangely? And I think is it Ari Aster? I think is that his movie. Sometimes I hear really good things about it, and sometimes I hear really bad things about it. I did like Hereditary. Midsummer was all right, but I wouldn't fancy watching it again. I don't think I need to watch it again. But I'll be interested to see those reviews. Ryan. Leslie V says, Brandon of Cinema, lived in Tennessee myself, mostly in Memphis. Lived all over Tennessee, Monterey, Cookeville, Clark Range, and Sparta. Memphis, obviously that would be Elvis, so I'm getting a really good flavor of that area. Thomas Pearson. Hello, Thomas. Hello, Tom. Hi, bud. Almost missed you. Forgot you were on. Well, that's no problem at all. I nearly didn't get on because I'm thinking to myself, right, I had all these things set up, and I thought, right, there's a few things I need to alter in here, and then it was just not altering, but I got on eventually. But nice to see you. Brandon says, nice, Leslie. Nice. I've also moved around a lot over the last 18 years as well, too. To be honest, I've been here since 2000. I think I'm going to be here forever. I love Whitley Bay. It's got so much going for it. Actually, it's my hometown when I was a kid, and then I moved away when when I grew up a bit. Excuse me. And my wife, when we bought a house, we couldn't afford on Whitley Bay. We moved to another place, and then we moved back here just before Whitley Bay prices went nuts. So I'm so glad we did get back at that point. Making sure I haven't missed any out here. Excuse me. So I'm really, really, grateful for everybody who's turned up and left some comments here at this sort of strange time. Really appreciate that. Brandon says, I'm so jealous of Aussies. I want to see Australia and New Zealand so badly in my lifetime. I've got to admit, I would love to go to Australia. I think it's just a massive journey on the plane, which I'm a bit with. But yeah, I think I've known people who've went to Australia, like people I've grown up with, and have emigrated there, and they have a great life over there. In fact, the people who live next door, they lived there for about 4 years. So they've come back here. They knew how to come back here anyway due to work, but they had a great time as well. I mean, obviously, it's the sort of weather you want to go for, but these days, if global warming's going to go the way it's going to go, and we're all going to be like living in Australia. Wow. Leon, hello, Leon. How are you doing? He says, Clark, my friend in Canada ordered True Romance for the release date, and his copy has just arrived yesterday. Also, hello, John, mate. Hello, Leon. Are you all right? I know it's just crazy, isn't it, that these things don't seem to be able to go where they're supposed to go. I mean, and Leon as well. We order stuff from America, and it seems to come really within 2 weeks, and it's so quick. Yet, wow, the whole. But I've never ordered anything from Australia, I've got to admit. So maybe it's the same way when I order things from Australia. Occasionally on eBay a while ago, have sent stuff to Australia, and it does take forever to get there, if I'm honest. Is it really, you think there would be some kind of middleman that could be in there that could, speed the process on? The Trailer Project says, is that a copy of Room 237 on your shelf? Although I'm not a Mentors fan, I'd recommend the El Duce tapes. There is a killer. There's a killer Arrow Blue. Yes, there. That's it. Yes, it is. Yeah, I watched half of it because I'm so intrigued about the whole conspiracy theories behind Kubrick in his movies. And does this movie mean this, or does this movie mean that? You can get so much stuff out of the behind the scenes. I'm hoping there's going to be a bit more coming out with Clockwork Orange in that respect. I've heard loads to do with 2001, The Shining, that type of thing. I just haven't heard that much about Clockwork Orange. There might not be anyway. But yeah, the El Duce tapes. I know that he was, if I'm right in thinking, El Duce was a friend of G.G. Allen, who was a bit of a psychopath, to say the least. And I think I've seen some video of him. Actually, he's a big fat guy, and he's a big baldy fat guy, and he was kind of a bit sort of psychopathic like him. And I'm sure, did they have a fallout, or did someone kill him? And or did he try and kill G.G. Allen, that type of thing? But yeah, I've seen it before. I've seen the thing, and I was going to buy it, but it was one of them ones where I didn't have the exact money. I would have had to put someone else back, which I actually was in there when I went to FOP. I saw it, but yeah, I'll definitely get that one because I'm interested to see what, because I do know a bit about the character anyway. Spectrum Kid says, all right, Spectrum Kid. Is there a favorite film of yours that you've only seen on VHS but hasn't been released on DVD and Blu-ray? Actually, there's one that I'm looking at, and I do know it's got a Blu-ray release, but I think it's only a Spanish Blu release, and I think it's called Out of the Blue, and it was stars Dennis Hopper, I believe Dennis Hopper, and this young girl who, I think she only made the one film. It's about her being sort of like a young tearaway, and she's got Dennis Hopper as a sort of dad who's a bit of an alcoholic, abusive dad. And it's a really good film. Actually, I saw it on the TV, and I taped it on the TV on VHS. I probably still got it somewhere. And I thought myself, I'll have to get that one. But it's obscurity. It's an obscure Spanish release on DVD. I will get it, but I'm sort of holding. I don't even think it would ever come out on Blu-ray. I think it's from about 1980. But I did have a great time with the movie, actually, and there's a few ones that I've got on DVD that really need to get the done on Blu-ray, and I need to get like a UK Blu-ray. One called Johnny Dangerously, which was a brilliant comedy with Michael Keaton, where he plays Johnny Dangerously, and it's got some of the one-liners there are just absolutely amazing. He plays that sort of wisecracking gangster really well, actually. And there's a bloke in it called Roman Maroney who can't swear properly, and he just, the stuff he comes out with, the swearing that he does in it, it's next level swearing, but he's not actually swearing because he can't swear properly. Yeah, you've got to see it. It's such a funny film, but it's an obscure DVD. But I don't know. It should be on Blu-ray. Probably it's on Blu-ray in the States. But there's a film called Eat and Run, which I think is absolutely brilliant. That's only on DVD. There is a few probably on VHS that I do need to no, the Video Dead, that's on Blu-ray, but not in the UK. That really needs a Blu-ray. Really needs Arrow or 8080 films to get on Video Dead, the Video Dead. But it's an amazing film. But that's a good question, actually. I would have to sort of go. I've got a book that I can't find it. It's in the house somewhere. That has everything that I had on. I've written out everything, like a sort of catalogue of what I've got on what I had on VHS, or what I had on VHS. I used to go through the book and have a look and say, right, well, we'll go and get that one. So I want to go through that, and there'd probably be a lot on there that I'll think, oh, I remember that one, but I've never seen it available to buy in any other format. So look out for that whenever that happens, and you might see something that's that answers that question. Martin Geary, I just bought Jaws recently. A thousand, sorry, 100. Sorry, I just bought Jaws recently. 100% amazing transfer, and just bought the 6 set of Apocalypse Now for £22. I tell you what, that's an absolute steal, that, Martin. I might have to find out where you've got that one from, because I know I've got the final cut, which I enjoyed, but I do think I need to upgrade to the six set of Apocalypse Now, because yeah, it's one I want to see the other cuts now. I thought I was going to just be pacified with seeing the one cut, because when I originally watched that movie, I didn't really care for it or understand it. Now I do understand it, and I do care for it. So, but they're two of, as I've spoke about, Martin, they're my two top 4K releases for picture qualities. They just look, well, Apocalypse Now, the soundtrack on Apocalypse Now is the best ever soundtrack for me on a 4K. The whole planes and everything. I haven't got Atmos, but it really sounded like Atmos on my soundbar. Wow. Tom says, oh, I use Zavi all the time. Get everything from them. Never had any problems. Great company to deal with. Well, Tom, I'm glad you've had that thing with them. To be honest, I haven't dealt with them that much. I think I've had about a 50-50 thing with them. I think that sometimes I've had a really good thing with them, and other times I've had a really poor thing with them. So I'm about 50-50 on that one. I do deal with them, but only when I've got to. They would never be my first port of call, if I'm honest. They've got some great additions there, but I'm just a little bit bit gun shy of them. But I'm glad that you have. I mean, I'm not saying that anyone should never use them. I'm just saying that personally, I find it to be a bit, I don't know. I hear a lot of bad things about them, but not really that much bad stuff about Amazon and Arrow or HMV. Brandon says, real soon I am getting the FYE Steelbook edition of Jaws. I love those Steelbook editions. FYE. I'm not too sure what that stands for. Maybe I'm just being a bit dense. But if you can elaborate on that, Brandon. But I think I've got the standard 4K in here, just with a slipcover from UK. I think we could have got the chance to get something a little bit special for Jaws, because we didn't really get that, which is a big shame, because I think that everyone else seems to get the real cracking Jaws versions, bar the UK. I'm really happy with my my version, and the slipcase looks lovely on it, but it could have been a little bit better, or it could have put the original artwork on it, which would have been amazing. Brandon says, hey, good night for now, Mondo. Good night, Brandon. I'm off back to bed. I just wanted to chill for a bit. Later room, Brandon also says, later room, it was fun. Everyone have a great time now. Cheers. Well, thank you, Brandon, for coming along and being on the stream. I do appreciate that. That's great for you. I know you live in a different country, so sometimes it's funny to think that you're going at 11 o'clock in my country, but it might be a completely crazy time in someone else's country. So appreciate that, Brandon. I'll speak to you soon in the comments. Tom says, I used to go to gigs back in the day, saw loads of today's legendary groups before their fame. AC/DC, The Police, Cheap Trick, yes, Blondie. That's the one that we want to see, me and my wife. My wife loves Debbie Harry. We've seen bootleg Blondie with Clem Burke on the drums, which was good, but I want to see the real McCoy. 10cc, I've heard the 10cc are absolutely brilliant live, believe it or not. Well, you do not know that, because Motorhead, yeah, Motorhead. Well, can you hear after? Can you hear now? Are you deaf? Because Motorhead were the loudest band in the world, apparently. But love to go and see that, because it's obviously iconic, isn't it? Could go on and on. Yes, I'm the same. In fact, if I can, I might just rattle through very quickly. I did. Right, I do on my phone write down everyone that I've seen. So if I can find the page for the bands I've seen, I can rattle them all off for you very quickly. I do want to see that. I do want to do something on my other channel, the John Perry channel, something more to do with music. That's going to be kind of like a music channel, if I'm honest. But the the whole premise of this channel has sort of become movies, and I don't know if I want to get too much into the music side of it, though I do think that that's one of my big passions. So here's a very quick run through of who I've seen over the years. I'm not going to dates, but I'll just go rattling through them. And this goes all the way back for 85 was my first ever gig, was Killing Joke. And I saw Killing Joke again, OMD, Anthrax, Black. Do you remember Black? Colin Veercombe, who sadly died in a car crash a few years ago, which was a big shame. Me and my friend were wanting to go and see him because he was still doing his stuff. The Mac Lads, remember the Mac Lads? The Dickies, Buzzcocks, Republica, the Misfits, the Misfits, the Misfits, Kraftwerk, the Misfits, Blitzkrieg, the Misfits, the Dickies, No Effects, Wilco Johnson, Buzzcocks, Bay City Rollers. Now, I went to see them with a work thing, and I tell you what, they were all right. Doyle from the Misfits, Dead Kennedys, Dickies, Bay City Rollers again, Wasp, Penetration, Proto Martyr, a really good band, actually, very under the radar, but they're a little bit like The Fall, who I love The Fall as well. The Damned, Mogwai, LA Witch. We Are Not Devo. It's a tribute band to Devo, but I tell you what, they're really good. You think they're watching Devo. Devo. They're really good. The Ruttles, Public Image, the Dickies, David Bowie Experience, Wolfgang Fleur from Kraftwerk. That was crazy. He used to he had a German helmet. He was walking around the stage and laughing, and he's so nuts, actually. Bay City Roads again. Actually, the one we're going to see them now, because obviously Les McCune's died, unfortunately. Level 2, Killing Joke, Bricks, and The Extricated, who are basically The Fall without the Fall singer. Slayer, Courtney Barnett, Bjorn Again, Clem Burke's Bootleg Blondie, the Struts, what a band they were, the Lemon Twigs, the Ruttles, the B-52s, brilliant, LA Witch, the Pixies, Penetration again, the Detroit Cobras, and John Shuttleworth. So that's what I've watched that I know of in gigs. So hope that's not too long for you. Probably miles behind the comments now, but I think I'm keeping up all right. Right, so Blockbuster Bob says, favorite boutique label? I really dig Second Sight and Indicator recently. Yeah, I've got to say that Second Sight are starting to be one of the ones that you've got to watch out for. Indicator as well. I think they're a bit like, when Indicator put their stuff out, a bit like Criterion. You're going to get some good remasters from their releases. I do think that they are definitely high up on the list. Personally, my personal one at the moment is 88 Films. I find myself getting more of their movies, or being drawn to more of their movies than anybody else. I think they've got a really wide selection of stuff that I just love. It used to be Arrow, without a shadow of a doubt. Arrow's probably number 2 now. I do think Arrow have just dropped the ball a little bit, because I think that they're not really going to that really obscure place that they used to go to and release these sort of just mad movies that no one had really heard of, or the ones that you wanted to see because you'd saw them on VHS in the 80s and then they just vanished. So 88 for me at the minute, but I do think Second Sight are going to be a really big contender. I think they're ones that are just going to be continuing to be just, next level. An Indicator have been solid from day one, actually. I was really surprised at how good their releases were, picture quality wise. Tom says, when you're going to start watching the movies you have never seen? If you don't like a movie, do you keep them or sell them? I ask this because you have a lot of collectibles that are rare and are rare. Well, I would say that that's a good point, because what I do is I try, if I've been to work, I work overnight. I go to sleep at work, or I try to. And then when I come back, I think, right, there's no one in the house. I've got a couple hours before, I've got to do something. So I come back, shower, and then I put a movie on, and I do try my best to stay through the whole movie, and I kind of drop off to sleep. It's just, as soon as you sit down, you've had it. So I find that the time to watch it is, and usually you're doing stuff during the day, and then you've got a chance to watch it late at night, and then you fall asleep again. So sometimes your one movie will be a couple of days sitting, which is unfortunate, which I've just done with the movie I've just finished this morning. I had to finish it because it's the 3rd time I've tried to watch it. When I watched it, I thought it was absolutely brilliant. So yeah, so the movies I've never seen, I do when I go to the shelves, I do think, right, I do try to get something I've never seen before. That means that it's more going to be first time watch for me, which is good. I'm always liking the first time watch. With my wife, I try and watch things that I know she's going to like. So sometimes there's a lot of them that you won't go near with a barge pole. So I know I'll never be able to share them with her. I used to do it with my son. My son used to watch a load of stuff with me, and we used to watch some mad stuff together. But he's busy doing his own thing now. He doesn't really watch. He's not paying for movies now. He's just busy pumping iron all day. So I seem to be at the moment as well. Work's a bit busy, so I seem to be taking a lot more time to watch movies. There's sometimes a couple of years ago I could watch maybe 40 movies a month, but I think it's hard at the moment. I do like the thought of watching movies, but I'm always trying. Put it that way. I don't often succeed, but I do think that I do want to be ahead of the game. But I know I've never been ahead of the game, and I know I never will be. But if I don't like a movie, let's think. If I don't like a movie, I could keep them or sell them. So I've got a few up there that I don't really like. If I can't see for the light. I think there's one up there. A Week. We'll use this one. A Week with Marilyn was all right. I was interested in seeing. I think I got it from Poundland for next now. Watched it and I thought it was all right. I've got no intention of ever watching it again, even with my wife who likes Marilyn. I don't think she'll like that film. So I've just that's up there, and it's going to be. I think I'll just get a stash somewhere, and just getting back to CEX, and then you're getting nothing for them. But maybe I'll have a look at the box. If the box is good, I'll keep the box and maybe put the box. Excuse me, box into here and do it that way. But I don't. Well, it comes to the point where when I fill the shelves up, I've got to get rid of some stuff, so that will be got rid of. But I might do what I was talking about before: put them to one side for a little bit, and then maybe if I go back and say, "Oh, I wouldn't mind watching A Week with Marilyn again." So that's. But I know I wouldn't watch that one again. So the collector's ones and the rare ones, I would always keep them because I don't think I'd ever get rid of them. Because if I'm honest, if I ever wanted to get them back, I know I'm going to have to pay a lot more than I ever paid. Usually with them ones, I've paid the sort of roundabout price they were going for on release, maybe 20, 30 pounds at the most. But you're talking maybe sometimes 100, 200 pound plus to get them back. So you're better off keeping them. If I'm honest, that's me thing on that one. If you've got a really good collector's item, just keep it, because when you want to go and get it back again, if you ever did, you're going to have to pay some big bucks for it, and they might not be worth it. Pro Physical Media. Hello, Noz. Are you all right? Glad I could drop in. Well, I'm glad to hear, Noz. Thanks for coming, mate. Really appreciate you. Really appreciate you doing that. Roy 75. Do you remember the first film you ever owned on VHS? Yes, that is. It's actually over there. It's is it? Yes, it's over there. The Elephant Man. I bought that in 1986. I thought it was 1985, but I just found recently that it's 1986. It was bought. I got it on the day of my birthday in 1986. So there you go. And that was the first ever pre-recorded VHS that I ever bought. And I think I got me VHS player on the same time, and that was the one that went and bought. It was £30. Can you believe it? But that's what you paid for them in the back in the day. You just couldn't. Actually, I've got this video where I'm talking about what I actually bought or what I watched in 1986, which I'm going to make, and that's going to be featured in obviously the Elephant Man. It's quite not an interesting story, but there's a story behind why I paid £30 for it and didn't buy next rental. So yes, so that's coming up sometime when I need to get all the pictures from the net of the ones that I got. There's loads of films in there. I thought I can't remember what they were, but when I saw the covers, I thought, oh yeah, I remember that now. So that's a video. So Blockbuster Bob says Doyle is awesome. Yes, he is. I've seen him in Bridgend. Great gig. Yeah. If I'm honest, the best thing about when me saw Doyle that time round in 2017, he played a lot of Misfits songs, which was brilliant. These days he doesn't play the Misfits songs because he plays the Misfits songs with the Misfits because he's back with the Misfits now. Like I say, I've taught him a few times. I think I've taught him 3 times, and I've had a chat with him. I've had my photograph taken with him, but he doesn't really want to chat to you. So that's all right, because if you're chatting to Jerry only, you're there all day with Jerry only. He'll just talk and talk and talk. In fact, I've had a talk with the other brother, Kenny. I've had a talk with him a few times. He's quite funny, actually. So because I'd said to Kenny one time, why is Doyle called Doyle? Because that's not his name. His real name's Paul. And he says, what did he say the answer was to that? He's called. Oh, he had a thing, but it wasn't an answer. He didn't tell us. He said he should be called Doyle. He said he did say, I said I don't know, but he should be called something else. And it was a daft thing. It was actually quite funny, actually. I said, why isn't he should be called Doyle only, shouldn't he? I went, well, maybe so. But yeah, so yeah, Doyle, I tell you what, man, he's a big bloke, isn't he? Because I remember my wife, because I'd seen Doyle a couple of times. I sat and talked to him. Obviously, he's towering over me. And I'd said to him, I said to Deborah, I says, well, will you go and see Doyle? I don't know about that. I said, well, you've got to see Doyle if he comes over here. So it's only 10 pounds to see him. So I went over and he was cracking on with his anyway. So he starts his guitar off when he's off the side of the gig, like always do, like it's sort of theme tune, and all the band come on, and then he come on last. But when he come up on the stage, obviously you know how tall he is. He stood and she just said, my God, he's a giant, man. I says, and has you seen the state of it? Because he's, the muscles and all that. So she had a great time, and she did say, I've never seen anybody the size of him. I says, well, to be honest, I said that in the times I've seen him, he looks much bigger now, because I think he's been moving out a bit more. But anyway, yeah, Doyle, yeah, I've never seen anybody play, or should I say, smash a guitar when he's playing it like he does. Every sort of like downstroke he does is as if he's trying to smash his guitar into smithereens. And as you know, Bob, he has broken his guitar quite a few times. But yeah, I know you're a big Misfits fan as well. That tattoo you've got is just absolutely brilliant. Clark says, hello, Leon. Hope you are well. It's great that in the course of YouTube as well, everybody knows each other, which is great. It's not as if when you're a channel, it's not as if you're a kind of like aloof when somebody says, like Clark knows Leon, and Leon knows me, and I know Leon, and Leon knows Jason Brett, and it's just, and Keith knows all of it, and he's taught one, he's been on different streams. It's a great little community that you've got going on, and it's just great that everybody's sort of like knows everybody else, and everybody's friends with everybody else. I like that. There's no pockets of division. Why would there be? Tom says, I think they will release a Tarantino box set when he makes his final movie. Yeah, I've thought. Yeah, I hear a lot of people talking about that. The fact he's supposed to. If he makes 10 movies, fair enough. It's taken him a long time to make 10 movies. Now, excuse me. I can honestly say that I can see them doing that, yes. But I can't think that he's just going to hang his gloves up and say, right, that's me done with movies. I don't understand how anybody could physically do that when he's had such a good career, and he's generally has released his movies to a favourable reception. I know some of them aren't that favourably received, but I personally rate all of his movies highly. Even Death Proof, which nobody seems to like, although some people do like it, and I think it's a great film. I do get it for what it is. It's a grindhouse release. It's this movie that's kind of like it's been trashed, like kept in a box and smashed around the negatives. I've got the regular release. I'm just so amazed that one has just become like a sought after movie, especially when you could get it in a pound stretcher for £2. I'm amazed at that. But yeah, I do think that, Tom. Clark says, yes, a big 4K set when the final film is released, but I wanted to be with individual movies in cases, not with the flip trays. Yeah, I'm very much like that as well. That's why I like the Friday the 13th box set, because it's got everyone in individual cases. Because you do want to have these flip trays. Sometimes it can just, well, sort of like make the sort of collection a little bit less. The sort of body of work might not be as much as they might say. It kind of makes it like a little bit less than it is. Roy says, would love to see a Blu-ray box set of all of Lemon Popsicle films. Do you remember these? Yes, I do remember Lemon Popsicle. I don't know how many I saw. I know that there could be about 6 of them. But I remember seeing definitely the first 3. And I didn't get the fact, I know I'm going to say, are they Italian? And they were dubbed. And I didn't understand about dubbing at the time I saw them. I remember people saying, what they're doing. It's not them talking, which we're kind of fixated on that. But we did like them because obviously what they were about was just quite a good sort of take on the whole Porky's thing. I think they started that off, but they didn't really get any recognition because they were obviously from a different country. And obviously, you know that Lemon Popsicle was remade as the Last American Virgin, and that film is just, as we were talking with a few people, Andy from Forgotten World of Movies, he agreed about the whole fact of the way that movie went. Now I'm interested in seeing if Lemon Popsicle it's had the same, because the same director directed Lemon Popsicle and wrote it, and also did Last American Virgin. So is that film? It got the same sort of ending as the sort of the American one has. I know that the thing I think about Lemon Popsicle is the fact of how sort of like madcap it was, and sort of upbeat and silly it was. So I don't know if that went like that. So that'd be interesting to see. Yes, I do remember them, and I'm surprised that's the type of thing that I think that trying to think who would 101 would be a good company to release them. Yeah. Clark says, I got a new schedule for watching films. I need to watch 3 films every day. I've only seen around 750. I want a watch count of at least 2,000 or more. Well, Clark, I know you're a young chap, and I think when I was younger, I used to watch movies like they were going out of fashion. And I think I used to try and watch about 3 or 4 a day. I used to go crazy over it. And I don't blame you, Clark. And there's a load of good movies out there for you to catch up on. And so, yeah, so I can see when you're young, you can do them type of things. So, yeah, good luck. And I hope you do achieve your goal. Phil's on, Phil 4K Baker, great guy. He tells me loads, it gives me the heads up on practically everything. Everything I know now from pre-orders and all that comes from Phil. It's just, again, I knew that everyone would think the same thing. And I know Phil's had a bit of bad health recently, and I hope that Phil's feeling better. Now, I know he is, but I hope you're getting back to full strength. Hi, John, great to see you on a stream early on. Hope you're, I am, yes, I am. I think the streamers went really well. Went much better than my previous second one, which was a total disaster because I couldn't see any of these comments. Had some great comments, and I'm really pleased to see 32 people watching at this time of day. And a time, on a Monday, you think everyone would be at work, but I'm usually at work on a Monday, I've got to admit, but I'm not this Monday, so I thought, right, I'll do this. And then I've done a live stream to rectify the whole disaster of the previous number 2 stream. Pro Physical Media Nos says, unfortunately, these days, few directors are pushing the barrier due to worry of being cancelled, that nothing special is being released. It's all bland, unimaginative stuff. Yes, yeah, I do agree. There's not anybody willing to take the chances. These ones here, these Italian classics, when I'm watching them, there's a lot of things in there when you think, wow, they just set out to do what they wanted to do. And I think back in the day, you could probably do that. There was nothing that you couldn't really show, if I was honest. And some of the things that you get in this is a bit wow. And I do think if you remake some of these movies, you'd have to change a lot of the subject matter in it because it's a little bit not extreme, but considered extreme now. So for me, I do agree with that one, and it's a bit of a shame because you do want to see that people do pushing the boundaries. Obviously, you don't want to go to Serbian film levels because that's a bit too much. And I know they were trying to prove a point and all that, but I think there's a limit to the point that you should show. I've seen some terrible films in my time. I mean, by the ways of like what's in the content, but nothing would touch that one because there's a place that you just should not go to. Anyway, we're not going to talk about that one. And Noz says as well, as for labels, 88 are indeed my preferred label currently, although the odd thing pops out from Arrow 88. From Arrow 88 seem to push out more consistent, decent films. Yeah, I totally agree with you, Noz. that's the way I feel about. I mean, Arrow. Don't get us wrong. I mean, I do go and get them stuff from them in the sales, but it used to be that I used to get, say, maybe 10 or 20 videos, movies from Arrow in the sales. These days, I'm lucky if I get 2 or 3, which just shows you. But in '88, when they start releasing stuff in the start, I mean, there's loads of stuff. They've got the Jackie Chan ones, they've got the Italian classics, they've got the slasher classics, they've got all these other ones, which are just some really excellent titles. Obviously, they're all down there as well. They're sort of what they call them ones, the Full Moon Entertainment ones. So yeah, so they've got much more to offer. I do agree with that. Niels Johansson says, did you know that there is a new Romero film out that's called The Amusement Park? No, I didn't know that at all. I would love to see that. Is that going to be a movie that has been one that he had maybe done, or it got shelved? Or is it one that's like a really old one that he just didn't put out? It was like maybe, because I know that Romero did a few really old ones. Yeah, I'm interested in seeing it. I mean, I'm interested in seeing anything new from someone like George A. Romero. I do like his work, I've got to admit. Keith from Euphoria says, I know that Stanley, this mouse thing, I'm just going to get that back to where it was. Right. I know that Stanley Kubrick is probably your favorite director of all time. Yes, he is. But I was just wondering what your thoughts were on artificial intelligence and how you found Spielberg's take on it. Well, there's a funny one. I do think that I would have much preferred Stanley Kubrick to make it. I am grateful that Spielberg wanted to finish it off. I didn't like it at all, if I'm honest. And I liked the theory behind it, but the thing I didn't like about it was the fact of how cruel they were to the robot slash kid. The way there were a couple of things that happened to him, I thought was like quite nasty actually. And the weird thing about it was that this kid in the film, and also my son looked well, he was the same age as him. He looked exactly like him, and I thought, if I had taken, not really spoilers, but if I had taken my son out into the middle of the woods and left him there, and the reaction that this kid had to say, why you leave, the kid didn't know he's a robot, and he just says, oh, we're going to leave you there because we're just going to leave you there. Imagine that. I just thought that was just, I didn't like it at all. I thought it was a bit too, I found it, I don't know, I thought they were really nasty to this robot kid, and I didn't like it at all. I did buy it, and I thought, oh, it's just going to be finishing off this whole great movie that I know that me and my friend used to talk about this artificial intelligence coming out for years and years and years, and it just never did. And then obviously he didn't make it because he took that long to research his movies. But no, I don't like it at all, for the fact that I think it's quite unnecessarily nasty to the kid. I don't know if it was going to be like that with when Kubrick done it, but I would have probably give it a bit more. I don't know. I just didn't like it at all. Clark says, if they ever release Eyes Wide Shut in 4K, it needs to be in the 4:3 aspect ratio. Yes, you're right, it does, because that's the way it was shot, isn't it? It's not my favourite Kubrick one, I've got to admit. I do appreciate it. I do think it sort of lags in the middle, but I do like the whole, when you know he's into that sort of cult setup. I think that's brilliant. The film could be just that little bit shorter. In fact, they could have took out, I know it needs to be there, but when he's falling out with his wife, that whole half an hour argument, I think they could have cut that out, because it was quite odd, if I found, but I do like the movie, but I think the next time I watch it, I will just zip past that. I don't really need to sort of be involved with that one. But it did look like a Kubrick movie, which I enjoyed. Tom says, do you have a list of your movies, or do you know what you have by memory? Tom, I'll tell you one thing. My memory, well, it's not hopeless, but it's not as good as it used to be. I think when you get on in life, I think you've got your head's got a certain amount of stuff that it'll take. And these movies, if I was to try and remember all of these movies, it would never work. I did used to be quite good with people's, if they released, like some director released loads of movies, I could kind of name what they were, the dates of them. I was really good at that. I don't really do that anymore because I don't really keep up on that one. I've got to say that I don't have a list of movies, if I'm honest. All I do is just I do have a little list on my phone of movies that I want to buy. Up and coming movies that reminds me on to say, oh, this is coming out tomorrow, or that's out next week, or I really need, if I'm out, I need to look for this movie. But I don't have a list of movies. No, I've thought about it a few times, but no, I don't think I would. I don't think I'll keep up with it, if I'm honest, because it changed that much. I'm always buying stuff or maybe moving stuff on. So not collectibles, but more like ones that I think, say if I got the two kickboxer movies down there, the new kickboxer movies, or even the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I watched them and I think they're all right. And I get 4 great movies in and 4 have got to go. Well, them 4 might be to go. So I don't know if I'll keep on that one. Forgotten World of Movies, Annie says, cheers, John. Favorite John Cusack film? For me, I love Better Off Dead and High Fidelity. Now, weirdly enough, I haven't seen High Fidelity, although I read the book, and the book is absolutely brilliant. And with it being, it was in like the UK, the book was set in the UK. I don't know if I could watch it with the US setting, unfortunately, because I think I'm missing out on a good movie there. But Better Off Dead, well, you named it. That is my favorite John Cusack film. It's so funny. It's one of the comedies I've watched countless times when I was a kid. I've got it on Blu-ray actually. Although I wouldn't say the quality is that good. Used to have it on VHS, not VHS. Well, yeah, I've had it on VHS. And I haven't. I've got the Blu-ray, but the Blu-ray is not exceptional. But I like to have it on Blu-ray. Just love it. It's got that many, as you know, if you've watched it, which you have. It's got that many sort of memorable scenes and memorable things you can talk about. The dialogue, brilliant. But yeah, Better Off Dead, without a shadow of a doubt. Although it was a Woody Allen film he was in, was quite good. I'm going to say Shadows and Fog. I think he was in. He was all right in that. I think he's a good actor actually. Tom says, was there a movie you watched when you were younger that you could watch again for the first? If there was a movie you watched when you were younger that you could watch again for the first time, what would it be? Well, there's so many, isn't there? I would love to get the experience of watching Jaws again. I'd love to get the experience of watching Star Wars again. Yeah, I think it would be sort of like the big ones, the Elephant Man again. I would like the first experience of that, because I think when I first watched that, I went in there with all my mates, and obviously you wanted to sort of not be the one who was thinking, oh, this is a bit getting you in the old heartstrings, and you were thinking, you're trying to not laugh it off, but you're trying to say doesn't bother me, but obviously it did. So yeah, so maybe the Elephant Man as well. Probably just like the main movies that everybody loves. I would like to watch maybe some of the horror films, like Zombie Flesh Eaters, Exorcist, Return of the Living Dead. What else? Like all of the what's the ones like Dario Argento films? Like yeah, there's loads of films that I would love to watch, and I'm quite envious of people who haven't watched those movies yet to get to have their first take on these classics. Good question though. It's a hard one to answer when you're put in the spot. Adam Buffrey says, apologies, I've just joined. That's no problem, Adam. It's a bit of a strange time to be on, I've got to admit. Hope that you are well. Yes, I am. What were your thoughts on the best 4K? Well, I've mentioned that before, and it's definitely Jaws. Jaws 4K is the best one for me. I think they've done an amazing job with it. Next to that, very close to that, is Apocalypse Now. And then I've got one that I like. I would imagine it's, although I haven't seen it, A Clockwork Orange is going to be up there as well. I think that'll be easily in top 10. 2001 looks amazing. Grease looks amazing. In fact, I shout out my top 10 from the last time I put it in my phone, which isn't like, it's probably changed a little bit from the last time I said it. It's not going to be, like nobody's going to be saying, wow, I didn't know that, because I've talked about them quite a few times. But so I'll go through my top 10 on the phone here. Is Jaws, Apocalypse Now, Grease 2001, Suspiria, that's absolutely amazing. Mortal Engines, film's not that good, but the 4K on it is just, it's just amazing. Blade Runner 2049, stunning. The Shining, yes. Fast and Furious 8, not the greatest of film, but I tell you what, the 4K on that is just, oh, it's exceptional. Elita, Battle Angel, that's me top 10. Yeah, I just think that then there's loads more that are out there. That the ones I've got on my shelves are usually what I would consider to be excellent 4Ks. Now, say if I got one, I bought one, and I didn't think it was that much of a good 4K, I'll probably let it go, actually. Or maybe just keep it, I don't know. But I'm not actively seeking to buy every 4K that's out there, because I know there's some that are just a bit like less than other ones. But thanks for that, Adam. Noz says, was great stopping in, but I have to pop off. Such a delay. This is before you see my hello message, lol. So just, as you know, John, I do watch, just not much commenting, more lurker. Take care, my friend. No problem, Nos. I mean, the fact that you watch anything to do with my channel is brilliant. I do appreciate it coming across to have to spend a bit of time and have a chat. That's excellent, and I do appreciate that. I really do. But no, hey, sometimes, you know, if you don't get a chance to comment, you just don't get a chance to comment. That's easy to do. Sometimes if I'm watching a video and I haven't got my phone at hand, which is what I comment on, sometimes I'll not comment on that video, not true, but if I'm charging it or it's, you know, it's getting updated or something, you can't sometimes go back to them. Although I do try. Tom says, I'm from Washington, the ancestral home of George Washington in the UK, in between Newcastle and Sunderland. I was watching it, I was going, hang on a minute, I'm sure you're from the UK. Yes, of course. Yes, I may have seen that, Tom. Washington, I haven't been there for a long time, actually. Although I do go past there if I'm going down to Barnsley, where my wife lives. She doesn't live there, but she was from there. So Tom also says, how about a movie review with your wife and son? 3 reviews in one. Well, I'll tell you how that's going to go, Tom. That's a great idea, right? But what you'll have is, you'll have my wife sitting over there, and you might see a hand coming in or a finger coming in, and you might hear a grunt from her because she doesn't like to be in front of the camera at all. Although I'd love to have her on and say, she has said she was going to say things about like what movies she didn't like, and I says, oh well, I'll do that video, but would you like to be on the video? No. So I thought, oh, so that's not going to happen. But and my son, not a chance. And I'll tell you why. Because he would laugh his head off at everything I said, and I would laugh at him laughing. So we would just be laughing constantly. So it wouldn't flow. And actually, he's probably got no time to do that. He's always busy. And so yeah, so maybe if he was younger, yeah, that would be no problem. But he's 25 now. He's more interested in lifting weights. So unfortunately, it's not. But I have got a niece, Emily, who said that she would come on the channel when she's up next. She hasn't been up since I asked her, and she said she would. But I've got a feeling that she would laugh all the way through it again, because when me and Emily get together, all we do is laugh as well. So it would be good, but it just wouldn't happen, unfortunately, Tom. But you never know. But I doubt it. I think the only time you saw was when I was doing that draw, and you could see her all coming in. I think that's the closest you're going to get to see her. To see her. Leon says, I'm doing well, John. I'm glad to hear that, Leon. Shipping times can be absolutely crazy sometimes. Yeah, I know they can. My recent one that I was going to get, The Nun and the Devil, which was coming out on a Monday, I ordered it on the Sunday to be delivered on the Monday, properly, pre-order. And it says, yes, you can have it in 2 months' time. And I know, I went back on there on Amazon, and they haven't even got it now. It's put the price up like 30 quid, and I'm thinking, you could have said that the first time, but yeah, so, excuse me, that was great. Clark says, hello, Leon, hope you're doing well. Jason Brett, hello. Hello, Jason. Hello, John, hope you're well. Yes, I'm well. I finally picked up Jaws on 4K. It's the US version with the lenticular slip box. It's a gorgeous release. Yes, you're right. It certainly is. It looks stunning. It's a masterpiece of a film, and the lenticular slip box. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I was looking at that, but I didn't go for it because it was a little bit pricey, and I thought, you know what it is? Why can't we have that over here? I don't understand it. We don't get it. We don't get anything apart from the regular one. And the slipcase went out really quick if I had to buy it with slipcase, which I think is a really big shame. I do think slipcases on 4Ks are getting a little bit weird at the minute, and I do think you should get more of a chance. You're paying a bit extra money, so at least they can do is slap a slipcase on it. But yeah, so that's amazing, Jason. Quite jealous actually, or envious, should I say. Clark says, Jason, hope you're doing well. Oh, see, this is what I say about Phil. Phil 4K Baker, out of the blue on Blu-ray, BFI November. Well, there you go. Thank you very much for that, Phil. Now, it's funny in this because I remember seeing this, and I think I did own it on VHS, if I'm honest. I did, because I had a white box. It's got a blue picture of this woman, or this girl, should I say. And she was really good in that movie, actually. She was a bit of a tearaway. I think she was a tearaway in real life. So there you go, Phil. Yes, that's a day one purchase for me because I do remember thinking that it was a stunning. I thought I saw it on TV late at night one time and thought, I've got to see that Phil. I've got to own it. So yeah, so that's what I mean about Phil. He's just sort of like my guy when it comes to anything. When I'm thinking, I would love to know about that film, and he effectively reads your mind and just bang, pulls it up. He just has this knack. So thanks very much, Phil. Yes, day one purchase. So, and with it being BFI, they're bound to do a good version of that as well. Hopefully, there'll be some extras on it as well. Trailer Project. There's a Region 2 DVD of Out of the Blue. It's not a great transfer, but it's better than nothing. Also a fan of Hopper's The Last Movie. Yes, so am I. I'm a big fan of Dennis Hopper's in American Friend. I thought that was a brilliant film as well. I've got that one on Blu-ray. Actually, looks really nice. It stars the amazing Bruno Gantz, who is one of my favorite actors of all time. So yes, I think that's probably the one that I was going to go for, Trailer Project. But with Phil telling me there's a 4K, there's a Blu-ray coming out, then I think that's where I'm going with that. But thanks very much for that. Blockbuster Bob says, finally getting around to watching the Blue Velvet today. Leon, I know you're a big Lynch fan. Well, if you like good films, you'll like Blue Velvet. It's a bit strange, but it's strange in a good way. As only what's it called? David Lynch could be. Roy75, the video Dead, which has the David Bowie look-alike zombie. Yes, with the hair. I know exactly what you mean. And you've got that zombie with the he's got the iron in his head, sticking out of his head. That's brilliant. I love that film. But yes, he does, doesn't he? With his hair flicked over. John, I've sent you details of the Blu-ray release on Instagram. Excellent. I will check that out, and I'll definitely be getting that. So thanks very much. Really appreciate that. Jason says, Clark, I'm all right. Hope you're good. Movie Collector. Hello, Movie Collector. Hi. Do you have any advice for anyone wanting to start a YouTube channel to talk about their collection? Also, when will you be releasing your next collection video? That's a great comment. The next collection video will be, I'll be filming. I mean, I'm down to about, where am I? I think I'm down to here. That's where I am to there. And I'll be doing on there. So yes, I haven't filmed it yet, but I do want to get a couple more out. I think I'll probably do them maybe, because they're quite easy to do. You just rattle them off. It's the editing that takes the time on that one. So for me, there will be coming in definitely in the next fortnight. You'll definitely get at least one or two. So, and I'm interested. I'm glad that if you like looking at them, because sometimes when you put them out, you wonder if anyone's really that interested in them. But I'm glad that people are. So thanks very much for that. And also, do you have any advice for anyone wanting to start a YouTube channel to talk about their collection? I would say, as anybody, you can ask any content creator in here, and there's a few in here, mind, just do it. That's all you've got to do. You've got to do it. You'll not, if you feel nervous, we've all felt nervous. If you feel that it's going to go wrong, we've all felt it's going to go wrong. If you feel like it'll not be any good, we've all felt that. But you come on, You do what you're going to do, and you'll be surprised. And you see, the thing is here, the community that you've got in here, even in this comments here, one of the most supportive communities you'll ever find on YouTube. There's no backbiting, there's no nothing. You just come on and they're very supportive, and everyone talks to each other and everyone's friends with each other. Everybody speaks to each other outside YouTube as well. Everyone's probably going to meet up with each other outside YouTube. It's great. So for me, I would say just start it, get your channel out, and do what you want to do, not what you think people want to see, and just enjoy it. Enjoy it because it's very enjoyable, and you don't have to. If you start off, don't go for anything that's too like. Don't buy the latest laptops and lights and all that. There's obviously if you've got some light, some natural light, I've got a laptop here, which I had a laptop anyway. I've got this microphone thing here, which cost £10 off Amazon. It doesn't have to break the budget. I've got a free, which I still use actually, a free editing software off the internet. So, and there you go. You can put it up, and it's amazing how quick you'll be recognized. And if you just say to any of us, myself included, and just say, "Oh, look, I've done this channel. I'll go and have a look at it. I'll subscribe immediately." And any tips that you want, just ask us. And and I don't think anyone's making any mistakes on here. There's no one I'm going to say to somebody, "You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do this." Everyone wants to do what they want to do. There's certain things I want to do that I haven't done yet, but I'm definitely sure I will do. But it's a race. It's a marathon, not a race. And just put it on, and then just set one up and enjoy yourself. And just if you feel confident enough to go to the camera, great. If you don't, you can do one with the camera looking at your hands to open stuff. So I would say go ahead and do it. I would never say to anybody, don't do it, because if you don't do it, if I didn't do it and I spent my whole life watching YouTube and then thinking 10 years in the future, in fact, I wish I'd before now, but anyway, you think to yourself, why didn't I do it? What's the worst that could happen? Nothing really. And don't be thinking there's going to be any trolls or this. It's not going to happen. It doesn't happen. I don't think anybody's that interested to be target people and be nasty to them, because I've never had it or seen it. So why would the short answer is do it and set it up. Don't break the bank on how you set them up, that you sort of stuff behind it, and just I'm sure you'll enjoy it. And why not? It's great to talk about the things that you're passionate about. Like I say, nobody really in my real life is interested at all about this, so including family. So why not share it with people, like-minded people like yourself, who enjoy this type of thing? I mean, that's what it's all about, just having a bit of interaction. Wow. So thanks very much for that, movie collector. I think that's a brilliant question. So Phil says, hi, Jason. Jason says, hi, Phil. Hey, do. Hope you're well. Movie Man says, love your channel, John. Thank you very much. I hope my channel will be successful as yours. Love, Movie Man. Well, Movie Man, what I'll do is, if I'm not subscribed to you, I'll just, at the end of this, I will go and find you and subscribe to you. I think it's good to have that interaction with somebody when you subscribe to them. And if you ever want to contact someone, you're obviously in each other's sort of mind, that you know that they exist. And my channel, to be honest, my channel's so much fun. I enjoy my channel a lot. I feel like it's never been anything but enjoyable. So that's the main thing for me. Just enjoy it, and whatever happens, and that's the best way to look at it. And don't expect anything. It just happens, and whatever happens is great. I do find, and I'm really enjoying it. I've got to say, do enjoy this a lot. But thanks for them kind words. I do appreciate that. Topper Southgate says, hey Mondo, just saw this, cool. Love the Dead Candies t-shirt, bro. Well, thanks a lot. And Dead Candies, it's just I love the fact of being able to wear something like this, because like I say, sometimes when you're working and stuff, you can't really wear Misfits Dead Kennedys t-shirts at work. It's not really appropriate. In fact, you've just got to wear black, blank stuff. But it's nice to bust them out every now and again. Excuse me, that's that pop. If anyone's interested in what drink I watch, I know I haven't got anybody asking us about my cheese, my favourite cheese things. That's all I drink. Fun fact, nothing else. Well, I drink coffee, I drink water, and that's nothing else. So there you go. Gary Page says, "Hi John, loving the channel. Thanks very much. Good reviews, and you have a great movie collection." Well, thanks a lot. I've been collecting this for a long time, and I mean a long time. I'm just so glad to think that I can share them with people, and people are interested, rather than if you go to work or you say to the family, "Hey, guess what I've got?" and they go, "So?" Okay, fair enough. I suppose I'd be the same as someone was talking about cars or something. Soundtrack Crusader, Yo Mondo, Your Soundtrack Crusader, excellent channel. So thanks for coming. I'm sure Soundtrack Crusader's got the channel. I might be getting you mixed up because that's. But if you haven't, but I've taught you a lot of times. So yes, Mondo, Your Soundtrack Crusader, Spectrum Kid, John. Thanks for the reply. I do find it frustrating that there are US 4K and 2K scans we don't get here, like in The Mouth of Madness, The Last Starfighter, and The Battle Beyond the Stars. Yeah, yes, I do. Yes, I do get what you're saying there. There's a lot of things that do seem to be over there. I think it's what to do with rights. It's crazy that if you want to get something released and it can't get released in a certain way in a certain country, and that's been from a lot of years ago. I mean, the amount of American imports I used to get on Blu-ray and DVD and even VHS was crazy because you just couldn't get these movies in the UK. Some of them were because they were cut, and you can't get the uncut ones from a different country. Yeah, but I do. It is frustrating that if you know there's a better version, you've got to go across to import it when it's from the same cut, like Arrow, but they can't release them here because someone else has got the rights here. It's all about rights. It's all about issues like that. It's all about money at the end of the day, isn't it? So Thomas has put, Tom, does your job include testing mattresses? You seem to do a lot of sleeping while at work, lol. Well, let's just say I've got the opportunity to go to sleep at work. Whether or not I can get a full night's sleep at work is a different story. Now, I'll leave it at that. Some nights I can literally go to bed, I can go to sleep at 10 o'clock and get up at 6 o'clock. Excellent. Other times I haven't got a chance. I'll just leave it at that. But yes, I'd like to sleep more at work. That'd be great, wouldn't it? Movie Collector. Hello, John. Hello, you all right? When are you going for your next Mondo Mooch then? Well, I had my last Mondo Mooch yesterday morning, and I'm putting my next Mondo Mooch video out tonight at 6 o'clock. And you'll see what I got from HMV and CEX in the last couple of days. But yes, thanks very much for that, John. He loves a good Mondo Mooch, and who doesn't? I love going out and getting stuff. I love going out with some money and thinking, what am I going to get? Usually I go out with nothing in mind, and I come back with some stuff when I think, wow, I'm so glad I got that. I think that's better than going out with a view to get X and coming back with X. I want to go with nothing and come back with something you think, hey, I had no idea to get this one. But thanks, John. Tom says, I would love to see a Kill Bill 3. I heard there was going to do a third, which involved the young girl who witnessed her mother being killed in the kitchen and was out for revenge. Yes, I heard that thing again as well, yes. I do think that that's a good premise to do with Kill Bill 3. I hope they haven't left it too long, because Kill Bill 1 and 2 were absolutely brilliant. And I think they're good companion pieces. I would hate to think that 3 would take anything away from that and kind of spoil it a bit. I did hear, well, it's obviously a rumor, that he was going to remake Faster Pussycat Kill Kill, which would have been amazing because I love that film. But actually, if anybody's, some questions I've had, what did you see on DVD, on Blu-ray, it would definitely be some of the Russ Meyer films, especially Motorcycle and Faster Pussycat Kill Kill, because they look good on DVD, but they would look stunning on Blu-ray done properly, because they're in black and white as well. Yeah, I would love them. Roy75, Shudder are playing Romero's The Amusement Park now. So this, Royce also said the film was shot in the 70s but never released and was forgotten about. And I think that George Romero Foundation had something to do with the restoration. Well, that's very interesting to know. I kind of half remember something about it as an old film, but never really paid much attention to it. So yeah, yeah, that would be, I would be interesting to see some, especially an old one from Romero that I've never seen before. That would be amazing. That's sort of like a bit of a holy grail thing. I'm glad that they have released it. Excuse me. Don't think I've ever talked so much for this length of time. Oh, right. Yes, I'm up the way it was. Forgotten World of Movies. Andy. Yep, I always thought Better Off Dead was a John Hughes movie when I was growing up. I can see why you thought that. I think Woody Allen one, yes, was Bullets Over. Excuse me, was Bullets Over Broadway? Yes, I'm sure he was in Shadows and Fog as well, but I could be completely wrong. Yes, Bullets Over Broadway was a great film. That was one of my favorites actually. One of the ones that Woody Allen wasn't in. Yeah, I can understand that about Better Off Dead. Yeah, definitely. Adam Buffery says, Thanks, John. Really appreciate the answer on your top 10 list. Fairly new to the collecting. I've picked up some of those on your list and they are incredible. So yeah, that's no problem, Adam. I do think that it's one of those things where that personally, I just think that when I was watching 4K, I thought, right, I'm definitely going to try and be impartial to them. And if it's a stunning release, but the film's not my favorite film, it'll definitely go where it needs to be. Like, hence, Mortal Engines is in the top 10, although the film is quite forgettable, but it just looks that good. And I've just based that on picture quality of 4K. So I'd like to think I'm going to do more on 4K to say that to tell you what are in the lower my recommendations of 4K. So if you're ever out in the shop and you see a certain one, you may think, oh, that was one that I mentioned that was pretty good. So yeah, I'm interested in doing that video. That should be coming up quite soon, actually. Now, Emily Barraclough. Emily, who was put thing on here. Emily Barraclough says, I will do a movie review with you. And Emily Barraclough said, I certainly would. Iconic duo. Now, that is my niece, Emily. Now, two things. That'll be brilliant to do, Emily. And also, Emily, I can't believe you are actually on my live stream because I know that when I text you, and you'll know this for true, if I text you, I will eventually get something back like lol. I can put a text that's about 10 pages long, and Emily will say lol or ahaha. So anyway, so yes, Emily, you are cordially invited to Mondo Chalavec Movies to do a review with me. I don't know what film we're going to review. I would love to actually watch a movie with you that was really, well, not bad, but like horrible, like a horror movie, just to see what you could, if you could sit through it. So I know, because well, I know Emily, and I'm thinking it's yes, that well, it's going to happen. You said it is. Just try not to laugh all the way through, because if you do, then I'll have to edit it. The video will probably be like 6 hours and I edit it down to 10 minutes. But yes, Emily, yes, we certainly will. Tom says, does anyone know if they are still making a $6 billion man? That's great. I was thinking about this the other day, the fact that, yes, they were going to make it, weren't they? Obviously, $6 million man sounds like small change now. So they're going to do the $6 billion man, like upgrade it. I would love to see that. But I just think that I hope they would recreate what we felt probably when we were watching the 70s, because it was just one of the ones that used to blow you away. Good point. I don't know if they're going to do it, but I keep hearing about it, but nothing more than, oh, they're definitely going to do that. Then it just doesn't happen. Forgotten World of Movies, Andy says, I've watched the video Dead Now, John. Thought it was massively entertaining. Yes, it is. It's low budget. It's trashy. It's got zero sort of production values, but I tell you what a movie that is. So really entertaining. And they do need to get a good one over here in the UK to do it, because it is just absolutely. If anyone hasn't seen it, they're missing out on a real good cult zombie classic. Sean Boy, what do you think about Jordan Peele wanting to remake Zombie Flesh Eaters and the Beyond? Do you think it's a good idea? Wow, didn't know anything about that. I would love to see what he would do with it. I don't know if he could, well, top, for me, I love the Fulci ones. I just think they're absolutely amazing. Even though the Beyond doesn't make complete sense, Zombie Flesh Eaters does make complete sense. I would say, I would love to see what he does, but I would have to distance him. If anyone remade any of the classic Fulci stuff, I would have to distance them from the actual them and just have them as a reimagining of that. But yes, yeah, I would definitely like to see what he would do, but I didn't know anything about that, Sean. Wow, good call. Niels Johansson says, what does Mondo Chalovek mean? Well, Mondo Chalovek does mean something. Now, funny enough, when I originally said what it meant, there was a lot of people said, well, it doesn't actually mean what you say it means when they've had a look at it. But this is how I've picked it up. Mondo in movies means, I was going to say, lifestyle. The Mondo movies are one of the ones that are like really, really, well, real life murders and deaths and mayhem, and they're pretty brutal actually. But I was thinking to myself, actually the name Mondo Chalovek is the band I'm in. I'd started a band for myself, and I just wanted to sort of do what I wanted to do, and I had to think of a name. So I thought of this name in 2004 when I had this solo thing, and I thought, what's it going to be? So I had a few names. Virtual Cousin was one of them. Don't know what all that was about. So what was the other one as well? Stush Granada. Yeah, Stush Granada Movies Channel. Wow. Anyway, but that was for a band name. What was the other one as well? It was something like someone's name. Meet Gahara. I don't know. So yeah, so Mondo means lifestyle. I'm thinking in the Mondo cinema, and also if you see these like cheap like games you get from Poundland, they're called Mondo games, and it means lifestyle, American Italian lifestyle, I think, although people say it doesn't. And Chalovek is from A Clockwork Orange, which means effectively a young man is a Chalovek. So it means lifestyle of a young man. And in 2004, I was a young man, believe it or not. So yes, so I hope that's answered it, Niels. It does actually mean something, but it's yeah, it just means, I just like the sound of it, Mondo Chalovek. It kind of, I like things with the right amount of vowels in as well, if that makes sense. I'm a big fan of words. Phil 4K Baker says, Possession is getting 4K release finally in UK and US. The French edition sold out in hours. Have you seen the movie, the one with the Carlo Ramboli creature on the bed starring Sam Neill? Yes, I've got it somewhere. I think it's up there. And I saw it years ago, and I didn't get it, if I'm honest. But I did want it on the Blu-ray to revisit it. I haven't revisited it yet. I don't know if I could really sort of say if I would really like the 4K of it, because I know it's quite a grainy movie. But yeah, it's a really weird film that is going to sell out in a few hours. Wow. I think I'm going to stick with the Blu-ray. Although yes, the creature on the bed, yeah, that's something else. You're not expecting that one, are you? Korashira Ishi, hello, how are you doing? Would love to leave a comment, but I'm uninspired. So, how's he hanging? It's hanging all right. You know, I knew you were going to say. You said you weren't going to say something daft, but I know you were, because obviously I know what you're all about, Korashia. Ooh. Pinnacle Logic. Hello, Pinnacle. How are you doing? Hello, John. How are you? Yes, I'm doing fine, although my voice is starting to go a little bit now. Do you like Westerns? Yeah, I do. I particularly like spaghetti westerns, if I'm honest. I used to watch a lot of westerns on the TV growing up. They were on the TV all the time. You had the likes of John Wayne, um, Clint Eastwood, obviously, and who was the other one that used to be on all the time? I do really want to get some more of his movies, but I can't remember his name. But he had a really good backstory to his life. He was the most uh, he was the what's it called, the most decorated soldier in the whole of the US World War II. Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. But I did like his stuff, but I haven't got any of his stuff. I need to see some of his, although they reckon he wasn't good in westerns. But yes, yeah, I do like westerns, particularly spaghetti westerns. I will watch them probably more than, like, say, like normal westerns. Soundtrack Crusader says, Mondo, I will be starting up a channel to show off my media book and other rare movies. Yes, I will do it in the next few weeks. You have a great collection yourself. Well, thank you, but I'm very interested to see what they are, because I don't really collect media books and rare movies. Yeah, I'm more for that. I'm more for seeing ones that are just. That's why I like some certain channels that show off things like that. I'm just saying that I've got that. There's a lot of these channels that I do watch. I watch for their rarity, and there's some of them that get the steel books and stuff like that, which I don't really collect myself. Or, like I say, collector's items and sort of big busts and all that. I do like watching those sort of things, but I know that I would never really collect them. So yes, I'll definitely take a look at that. So Emily says, I'm still watching now, just got the day off work. Aha, right. Well, I'll tell you what. So Emily, I'm going to say, are you still working at Costa Coffee? I know you just started there. And if you are working there, you better be able to make me the best ever coffee. And I'm going to put my order in now. It's going to be, I want a cortado off you. And I also want, what's the other one? A latte. With, I want some drawn on the top of it, like they do in Costa. So I want that. No sugar, thanks. And that'll be good. And make sure you have plenty of them cakes on the top, so I can eat one of them, right? So the question is, are you still working at Costa? Have you started working at Costa yet? Neil says, thanks for the answer, sir. No problems, Niels. Yes, that's what it means. I have got a video of us what it actually means on my channel way back when. I thought I'd put it on just to see what it means, because it does, in essence, it does sound. Oh, this thing's getting a little bit hard to sit on. 2.5 hours. So yeah, so you can have a look at this video that I did on it. I thought I'd just put it out because it is a bit of an odd title to have for a channel. I thought, rather than just putting my name on it, although I'm doing that other channel called John Perry Show, I'll just put something that was a bit obscure. But I thought, well, I'd just tie it in with my band thing. So I did anything about my band stuff. Ironically, I'm going to be doing the stuff for my band stuff on my John Perry channel, which is what kind of worked out the wrong way around, but it doesn't matter. It's all good, actually. It's all worked out quite well. So Blockbuster Bob says, I'm going now. Really enjoyed the stream and chatting with everyone in the community. Peace out. Yeah, you too, Bob. Appreciate you coming along, and thanks for sticking around and having a chat and all that. Really appreciate that. So it's going really well, but I think it's at this point my voice is starting to go. I'm starting to get leg cramps, so I might have to wrap it up in the next, say, maybe 10 minutes. But I appreciate everybody coming along to this live stream. So Emily says, yeah, I am. So yeah, Emily, did you hear what my order was? Latte cortado. I don't know if you've made a cortado yet. And a cake, coffee cake, please. Thanks very much, with walnuts. And Auntie Debbie as well. She wants, every time we go to Costa Coffee, we say, she better be making us the best ever Costa Coffee we've ever had when you come down to see her. So you know what's coming. Yuha Tankinson. Hello, Yuha. Are you all right? Hello, John. A question. What is your experience of a company called Zavi? A friend told that they possibly do not pay back the custom duties we have to pay 24% here. Reliable or not so? Well, I've got to say, in my estimation, it's got to be, oh, I can't read, it's got to be 50-50 for me. I can't say they're amazing and I can't say they're terrible. Although I could understand anybody saying that they're terrible. I can also say that people have had some good things with them as well. Personally, I'm not, I could imagine them doing, if there's anything wrong or problematic with things, I could imagine Xavi doing that, because they're a little bit like that, if I'm honest. So yes, so I'm going to say, it's in my experiences, I'm going to say I don't really trust them that much, if I'm honest. I try not to buy from them unless I've got to buy from them. Tom says, Audie Murphy, that's it. Audie Murphy, that's the fella. I'd just like to see some of his movies. I saw loads of them when I was a kid, but everyone said he's not a good actor in westerns, but I don't want to see them because he's a funny guy. To think that he was the most decorated person in the whole of the US World War II when he became a movie star. And his life's just, I would love to see actually a movie about Audie Murphy, if they would ever make one. I don't know if they would make one at the moment, because I don't know if he's like a well-known name. But he come back and he was like a good-looking kid, and he had everything going for him, and things didn't go right for him at all. Wow. So thanks for that, Tom. Forgotten World of Movies says, great stream, John. Well, hey, no problem, Andy. I do a blast out of yours and Pete's and Jim's streams on the Tuesday night. I think they're so funny. And plus, the best thing about this stream now is I'm not doing a quiz. So yeah, wow, I wonder how that goes. Well, not so much for you, but for regular Joes like us, it's a bit of a it's the most disheartening thing about this, the quiz is when the question's asked and you're kind of thinking, you're going, and you just see that yourself, Andy, are writing down immediately, and you think, I can't believe he's got that one already, and it puts a bit more extra stress on you. Wow. Pinnacle Logic says, what is a spaghetti western? I watched Banditos last night, 1967. Johnny Shot, brilliant film. Would that be classed as a spaghetti western? Well, the spaghetti westerns are generally ones that were shot in Italy, so they would have maybe Clint Eastwood, who was American. They would have some Italian actors. They could have some German actors. They could have some Spanish actors. They're all sort of, I think it's because it's filmed in Italy, the name spaghetti, but I think it's to do with the fact that they're just not all speaking the same language, and it comes from a certain low budget version of a western. So to me, I don't think I've heard of Johnny Shot, or Bandidos. But if you get one, well, especially the likes of the Mammoth No Name, the Clint Eastwood ones, and maybe some Lee Van Cleef ones, and Django, them ones, you would say they're definitely spaghetti westerns. Emily says, I tell you what, Emily, when I tell your Auntie Debbie that you are on my stream, she's not going to believe me, but I'm glad that you are. I'm missing you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you, and I'm looking forward to drinking what she says I'll be the best Costa you've ever had. Well, I've got it written in I can put it down in what's it called, in writing on my phone. I can say Emily says she's going to bring me the best Costa coffee. I tell you what, I've had a few Costas in my time, so it's on. The game's on. Yuha says, I did order from them, but cancelled them. They promised to cover the custom duties, but I don't know. Tempting offers they have, but I think Amazon is more reliable. Yeah, Yuha, I'm going to say that exactly. Go for Amazon, because yes, they've got some great stuff on Xavi, and I've been very tempted to get some of their stuff because it's so really good. But then again, could get damaged in the post, and if you cancel from them at all, actually, I just cancelled something recently from Xavi. I was tempted to get some, but I thought, no, I'm not going to. So I cancelled it. They hadn't took any money out at that point, but I think it was on pre-order. But I hope you don't get thinged off by them starting to mess you about and that, which I don't think is a good thing to be from a company. Amazon, for me, Amazon all the way. Forgotten World of Movies. Oh, John, I know you love Down by Law, but have you seen Night on Earth? Yes, I have. It's absolutely amazing, and most of his movies are. Going to blank on his name now when I'm thinking about it. Is wow. Jim Jarmusch. Most of his movies are brilliant. In fact, I even like The Dead Don't Die, which is over there somewhere. And I did understand why loads of people didn't like it, but I thought it was a really good movie because I understand his type of movie making. But yes, I do think that's it's a great movie, and I do think all of them movies from that era by him are just fantastic. But Down by Law, well, it's my favorite film of all time. It's just puts us on Criterion, so it looks amazing. I would love to see a 4K of that one. I don't know if it will though. Tom says they made an Audie Murphy movie. He played himself. Well, I actually was he like a soldier, wasn't he? Like it could have been called the Audie Murphy story. I've got to see that because yes, I do think that I do remember that one. Well, we couldn't mention it, but it'd be one of them ones where you can't see for loving the money. Thanks for that though. Yuha says, now I hope that my orders are really cancelled and they do not charge my account. Well, I hope not, because I don't think they should. If you cancel something, then you cancel it. You don't get you don't have to pay anything for them not, giving you what you want or you're not happy with it. So for me, the fact that you've cancelled it is enough, and they give you back 100% of what you actually forked out for in the first place. I'd like to think that happens. So keep in touch with us on that one. I would love to know how that one ends. Soundtrack Crusader, Once Upon a Time in the West is my favorite Western of all time. Classic and never be another like it. Yes. I've got to admit, it'll be in my top 5 Westerns. It's amazing. And I think you'll agree, the start of it, it's like a mini movie itself. The first 10 or 15 minutes when they're just sitting in a train station before the film really starts. Absolutely brilliant. And putting in Henry Fonda as the bad guy was a great move as well. Yes, it's brilliant. And of course, it's got Charles Bronson as well. So it's got all that going for it. Way Out West is a top Western. It is actually. It is kind of, isn't it? Yes, you're right. And I do like that one. I was going to sing the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia, but I think my voices went. Roy, sorry. So Tom says, my name is Nobody. Great comedy Western. Yes. It's absolutely brilliant. I love the soundtrack of that one as well. Yes, My Name is Nobody with I'm just going to blank on his name as well. Not Terence Hill, or is it? He's absolutely brilliant in that movie. Yes, great movie. And also Nobody Is Still My Name, I think the sequel, that's great as well. John Ushia, I hope I'm saying that right actually. John Ushia. Hi John. Do you have John De Palma's Carrie movie? Yes, I do. It's a classic. I love it. Actually, I left it alone for a long time. I got it on the special edition on Arrow and thought, am I going to like this movie? But I tell you what, I had a really good time with it. I've got to admit that on rewatch, that Sissy Spacek in it is just absolutely unreal. She's the performance in that makes the movie for me, and it's a great movie. So highly recommend it, actually. And I went into it thinking, will I ever like this again? But I really did. So Yuha said they were pre-orders about to be released at the end of this month and also the month of September. So I will inform you later this month. Well, please do, because I do think that the fact that you put them in, you didn't want them, and you've cancelled them, that should be the end of that. You should never have to pay anything for that. It's, the fact that you wanted to cancel from them is enough for you to say, I'm done, money back, please. I know Amazon are quite good at giving you money back or not charging at certain points. Roy says, you could possibly do the Stan Laurel deep voice if your voice is going. You probably could, actually, but I do think that if I do that, that clip will come back and haunt me in future. If I ever make it into a big movie star, they'll say, hey, look what John Perry did on a live stream in August 2021. The play it when I'm getting interviewed by Jonathan Ross, and I just can't have that hanging over my career. Thanks, Roy, though. But that's so funny that song, when you heard it, and you didn't know that it was going to go that way when you did the high voice, the high voice when you got hit in the head. Yeah, it was great. One of the funniest things I ever did. Go on, do it. I'm sorry, Roy. Honestly, you got, maybe sounds atrocious anyway, so it's a double whammy for yourself. Pinnacle Logic. Have you seen cult movies Suspiria 1977? Yes. 4K release has got a brilliant restoration process video on it. Yes, it looks stunning. It's in my top 10 of all 4Ks of all time. It looks absolutely amazing. So yeah, I'll agree with you on that one. Yes, it's without a doubt the best ever sort of low budget horror film to be released on 4K. The Pinnacle, the trailer project says, Phil, thanks, can't wait to get out of the blue on Blu-ray. News made my day. Well, I'll tell you what, trailer project, it's made my day as well. And I've got to say, Phil, he's amazing. He's an amazing guy. He's an amazing supporter of many channels on here, myself included. And also the fact that it's amazing. It seems to be, if you just think about something, Phil just seems to pull all this information out the air, and you think, wow, I can't believe that this is. And he saved me probably a fortune by knowing what to go for and when to go, and what's coming up in pre-order. He can tell us when the pre-order is going live, so I can just crack on and get this stuff. So it's amazing to think that people like Phil are out there, and I think he's he's helped my channel and lots more channels as well. I've heard his name mentioned on a lot of channels, quite rightly, saying how good he is. So yeah, that's great, Phil. The voice will be sounding like Tom Waits in a minute. Yuha says they do not charge my account, so I hope they will not do so. They can't. I don't think they can, and I think they shouldn't, and I don't think they will actually, because if they haven't charged you and you've cancelled it, I think that's the end of it. And I would love to think that they're not going to do that, because they shouldn't. You've effectively told them you don't want it, and that should be good enough. So yeah, no, I don't think you will on that. Forgotten World of Movies, Andy says, have you seen Talk Radio from 1988? Great Oliver Stone film. Yes, I have, although I can't remember anything about it. So who's in it, if I'm honest? I'm trying to think of the people on it, and I can't think, but I know I have seen it, definitely. It reminds us of Good Morning Vietnam as well. I think that was out around about the same time. Me and my wife went to see it at the pictures, actually. The Good Morning Vietnam. The Trailer Project, big fan of BI5's Flip Side series, yes. Any favourite titles from that line? I'm going to say, I don't know if it's a Flip Side one, I think it is That Sinking Feeling, the 1979 movie from the same guy done Gregory's Girl. I think that's a Flip Side one. I don't know if the Flip Side one is more like 60s films, but that would be my That Sinking Feeling would be my top one in that. I love that film. Niels says Tom Waits is an incredible actor. Yes, he is, actually. He was in The Dead Don't Die as well. I think he narrated it slightly, and he was some kind of weird. I think he's been in a lot of Jim Jarmusch's films, but yes, Tom Waits, I just think he's brilliant. I've got all the CDs, love his music. Just think he's such a really interesting person in general. Tom says, I order a lot from Zavi on pre-order and cancelled a lot till later dates and have had no problems at all. You don't take payment until close to release date. Well, that's fair enough. So I think that you're going to probably be safe on that one, and I don't think you're going to run in any problems with it. I would like to think you wouldn't anyway, because I think it's a bit of a bad thing to do if you're going to do that. You're going to do that way and take it out after the effect, because that's not good. That's not playing it right, is it? So Andy from Forgotten World of Movies says, yes, Talk Radio has Eric Bozagin. I'm sorry, I'm reading that wrong. Eric Bogazin, Eric Baldwin, and Michael Wincott. I'm not too sure. I mean, I would have to look him up, and I'd probably definitely know who that is. But Bogazan. It does ring a bell, actually, that name. Although I do know I've seen it, but like I say, I just can't remember anything about it. I know that you probably like it, Andy, because you do talk about it a bit, actually. Neil said he was awesome as Renfield in Bram Stoker's Dracula. Yes, he was, actually. I'm not really a fan of that movie, but I do like Tom Waits in it. I'm tempted to get it just for the Tom Waits performance, but I don't really rate the rest of the film. I do rate Gary Oldman in it, but the rest of it I don't really care for, if I'm honest, unfortunately, because I did want to see it. Keith says, from Euphoria Pictures, fantastic stream, John, and I'm so glad I was able to find a bit of time to pop in. I'm sure I will have to chat about it later. Until then, take it easy. Yeah, no problem, Keith. Thanks for checking in, and appreciate you watch. I appreciate anybody watching, actually, and if you watch this on catch up as well, I appreciate you watching and sticking through with it. It's been a great one, actually, and this 2 hours 50 minutes has really flown by. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to definitely finish at 3 hours, because I don't think I'll be able to stand up straight. I'm sitting on a box here, but I have got what's it called? A pillow. I'm sitting on a pillow here. So it's getting to be a little bit on the uncomfortable side. But anyway, I've really enjoyed this whole experience. This is honestly, it's only my second stream, like to be on as a sort of like a host. Although I've been on a few live streams, which I've really enjoyed, and I look forward to going on plenty more in the future. I think they're a great way to sort of connect with people. It's a great way to have chats with people, maybe that you don't chat too much in comments on videos. Maybe somebody who doesn't have the time to put comments on, or they maybe just want to prefer to do it like one-to-one like this, which is great. It's great to actually speak, and you get some great comments on here. I've had some great comments which, oh, my legs, which obviously they keep you going. And I know that the second one I had, which is obviously wasn't going to get put out because it was just me talking to everyone was commenting, but I couldn't see them. I'll keep talking about it, but that was hard to do. I think I did 40 minutes and I struggled to talk about nothing really at 40 minutes. But the fact of everybody joining in and chatting here has really got this stream to be where it is, as a really enjoyable stream, which is kind of went through quite quick, and I've kept up with the great comments as well, which is always hard to do, I think, to keep up with comments. I'm just glad I could. Pinnacle Logic, I will stop with the questions now, John, as I don't want to put you through any more pain, but I really enjoy your channel, and I'm glad I found your channel. Keep up the great videos, John. Well, thanks very much, Pinnacle Logic. I do really appreciate comments like that, and I do appreciate anybody watching and anybody finding anything decent in these videos. It's just me and a laptop, me chatting about something. I might pick something up and say, look, I got this, I got that, and that's all it is really. But I get so much enjoyment about doing that, because if you think about it, I can't do that in real life. I can't talk to anybody for 3 hours about this. I get 3 minutes and just say, right, that's enough. So for me to be able to do that is just great, and I do appreciate anybody for doing this. I really do. And yeah, so Pinnacle Logic, if you became a sort of subscriber after hitting like 1,000 subs, and I didn't see you coming up on me thing to say that, because I do like to know who's subscribed to you, and I know that some people don't, to choose to not be like to say who they subscribe. That's fair enough, but it just means it's a bit of a down sort of thing when YouTube, after hitting 1K, they sort of don't give you that privilege of seeing who's subscribed anymore, which I think is a bit, because sometimes you would be subscribing back to people, but you don't know who they are, so you just see the subscribers going up, and you just think, but you don't know who they are. You know, the ones after 1,000. But I'm really appreciative of anybody who's decided to watch the videos or subscribe. It's great to think that people would want to come back and watch more, because to be honest, they're always going to be more or less the same. You know, I'm not going to say I'm going to try to do anything different, because it seems to be working. So why change it if it's not broken? So Andy says, Forgotten World of Movies says, cheers, John, cracking stream. Well, thanks a lot, Andy. And I do want to do ones with other people. Like, I want to start ones with other people. I don't know if I can do it on this particular setup on the YouTube live stream, but I do think that YouTube might want to start looking into ways of being able to bring people on their live streams, because they'll lose out massively to other live streamers. So for me, I would like to think that that would be a thing in the future. So I'd like to definitely do a live stream with you, Andy, because I think your knowledge of movies is very good, actually. So Tom says, "Nice chat, John. Catch you later. We'll let you know. We'll let you go now." Thanks, Tom. No, thanks again. And I am still. I've got your Misfits pictures, and I am going to get them put up. Just need to get those the right. I'm keeping them until I get the right frames for them, because I've got some other ones. I need the right frames. I want to try and get the right frames for the lot, but they're all different sizes, and this is the other ones as well. And or do I get them all differently? So that's a thing I'm sort of working out in my mind now. I know where they're going to go anyway. The Trailer Project says, "Thanks for the live stream. Keep being awesome. I discovered you via John the Movie Collector." Yeah, John, he's a great friend to have on this channel, because there's a lot of things where John's given me a shout outs, and I tell you what, it's made my things just go up and up and up, which is just so amazing that he would actually do that for me. He didn't have to. But I talk to John all the time, and I'm a big fan of John's channel. I think, as Keith said as well, I think John has the best channel on YouTube, and that's no slight to anybody else. I just think he does his thing the best, and I don't think anybody can compete with him, if I'm honest. I discovered you. Yes, I just ordered Out of the Blue. Check out the 1977 Black Panther if you haven't seen it. Yes, I've seen that one. I will get that one. Yes, I'm going to go and order Out the Blue now, because can't believe that's coming out in Blu-ray. That's just like mad. It is. It's absolutely. It's one of the best. You know, someone says, "What's the best thing that happened to you today?" I'd say, "Well, I did a live stream and I found out Out the Blue is out." See, this is the thing. I can talk that with you on here, and you go, "Wow, Out the Blue." And if I went running work tomorrow and said, "Hey, guess what? Out the Blue is coming out on Blu-ray," people would say, "Right, that's enough. Get your coffee and shut up." So, you know, there's that. So Penalgit says, "I subscribed after watching your Blurred with the Crystal Plumage 4K unboxing. I'm a big Dario Argento fan." Oh, thanks very much. Yeah, that's quite recently, and actually, there's more to do with Crystal Plumage. That's coming up. I've got that. It might be my next video that I actually shoot. I know I've got one coming out tonight, but I've got this one that I'm still in the process of doing. I've watched The Bird with the Crystal Plumage. I watched the whole thing. I've looked through the whole package, and now I'm going to my video on there is going to be what I think about it compared to the upscaled, well, the 4K remastered Blu-ray, and my thoughts on the 4K remastered Blu-rays of versus the 4Ks of well, it's a mouthful, Arrow videos in general. So so yeah, so there's plenty more stuff going to come. Then there's going to be more stuff on the Cat of Nine Tails is coming up. The same coming up with Deep Red. So there's plenty more Argento. I'm going to do all my collection of Argento movies. I haven't got them all, but what I've got, I think that I really enjoy them. Also, me full C films as well. So yeah, thanks very much, Penalgit. It's nice to meet the people who are doing this, because if you know they're out there, but sometimes you think, how if there's these amount of people, who are they? And it's great to finally, put a name to some people. So thanks very much for that, Pinnacle. And Neil says, "Thanks for all the answers and the good and interesting live stream. Take care, sir." No problem, Niels. Thanks for coming, and I appreciate anybody who's been on this channel and has took the time out just to spend a bit of time in here, or all of it, which is amazing. I've still got 15 people watching. So at the most, I think it's 32. So that's absolutely brilliant. I've got 27 likes on the video itself. So thanks very much. And I'm sure if anybody's watching this on catch up for the 3 hours, wow, for the 3 hours it's been on, I hope you've enjoyed it, because I really have. I've had some great comments on here, which has kept this stream going very well. So really do appreciate that. John Uchiha. I'm sorry, I really hope I'm getting that wrong. I think John Uchiha. The movie collector is amazing. Yes, the maze is absolutely. I can't say. The first time I saw him was when I done my Jaws 4K, which is one of my first videos I've ever done. I reviewed the 4K of it, and I thought, I wonder who else has done one of these. So the first one I saw was John's, and I put it on, and I thought, wow, this is like how you should be doing stuff. And he is just, but he's not one of these people who's like aloof. He's very contactable, and he's also very supportive, and he's not one of these people who you think he's got this huge channel and he wouldn't look down his nose. But it's one of these things that these big channels do interact with the smaller channels. It's great. Yeah, he's a great guy. Have a lot of good chats with him on the phone. He's very funny as well. He comes across funny on his videos, but in real life to talk to, he is super funny. We have such a good laugh. And John says as well, Brian De Palma collection. I've got a few. In fact, I've got more than I thought I did when I looked through and saw what movies he's put out. In fact, there's a load of movies that he's put out that I don't even know. I thought, oh, I didn't know it was one of his movies. So I've got a few. I say I might have about 5, although I can't really remember them at the time. It'd be better if I had these in front of me over there and I could just look at them, but then you wouldn't see anything. And I would be spending my time looking at these movies. I suppose I could look at them in the mirror over there and see them, but I have to read everything backwards. But yes, I do like Brian De Palma. I know Leon from Leon Talks Film. He loves Brian De Palma. And Roy says, time has flew by. Great stream, John. Well, thanks very much, Roy. I appreciate you coming. And I'm sorry I couldn't do my Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia in the deep voice or even the high voice. So I've just hit the 3-hour mark. So I just want to say thanks, everybody, for coming in. Do appreciate that. Emily, if you're still watching, make sure you get that coffee on and make sure you get it to what you said. It's going to be the best ever coffee I've had. I'm going to hold you to that. So thanks once again for watching, everybody. I'm going to say you take care, and I'll see you on the next video. I'm just so used to say that on the end of my videos. I think you get a thing and you just become, you should say that thing. Anyway, I'm starting to waffle. But yeah, bye, John. So thanks very much for everybody coming along. So I'm going to end the stream now. I just want to say thanks for everybody. Been great. Cheers. I'll see you next time. I'll be doing a live stream in the next couple of weeks, I would imagine, maybe 3 weeks' time. So thanks very much. Cheers again.